listening to the Champions League live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. The teams are entering the pitch at this incredibly antiquated stadium. That's the way it looks from the outside of the what used to be known as the Stadio Sao Paulo, now named after one of its most famous sons, the man who led them to a Scudetto in the 80s, Diego Armando Maradona. But the modern day Napoli won the Scudetto last season. Whether it becomes the Stadio Scott McTominay further down the line is another thing. But there's so much to look forward to in this game, Scott Minto, so much to look forward to. Conte against his old club, won a Premier League, won an FA Cup, jettisoned, maybe still feels bitter, didn't really show it in his pre-match press conference. He's more concerned about the injury crisis that he's currently undergoing at Napoli. They're not defending their title particularly well, but at home, they're a tough nut to crack.
Yeah, it's a real yin and yang side with Antonio Conte, and it's not just at Napoli as well. I mean, if you think about at Chelsea, at Juve, Inter as well, he's very good in those first seasons when perhaps even they're not even in Europe. But actually, it's been aimed at him that he's perhaps a one-game-a-week manager. And by that, it means, you know, he's so intense, he's so full-on. It's very difficult to play 2-3 games a week at that kind of intensity that he wants to. So, yeah, they're very strong at home, but they have got a lot of injuries as well. Chelsea have to try and be positive here.
You can hear the familiar strains of the Champions League anthem ringing out around the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona. Scarves, banners, flags, firecrackers, smoke. It's all going off in southern Italy. And this is one of the most intimidating stadia to play at, even though there's a running track in between the edge of the pitch and the stands. You know, you think of London Stadium, we're home with West Ham United, that gets a bit of clog for some of the stands being far away from the pitch. Somehow SSC Napoli still managed to create that intimidation with 8 lanes of running track between them and the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, the London Stadium was the first thing that came to my mind as well. But you're right. I mean, again, the injuries that they've got with David Neres being out, who was in great form. You know, Frank Zambo Anguissa was amazing last season. Obviously, Kevin De Bruyne is injured and Billy Gilbert too. But they've still got very, very good players. And there is something special about this particular stadium at home. You know, yet to be beaten in Serie A. We heard how good they are at home in Europe. But, you know, Chelsea have to put that to one side. This is where they need men. You know, it's all very well having the promising youngsters. But the games like this and atmospheres like this that are so intense, you need to be that kind of senior pro, even if perhaps you're not. And what I would say is, again, I think he's picked a very strong side, and the average age might still be pretty low, but I think there's a lot of men out there. There's a lot of guys who are quite happy to be the star in this particular atmosphere.
Napoli wanted the win in Copenhagen a couple of weeks ago, couldn't get it, ended up being a 1-1 draw. That's why they're in the position that they are in, outside looking in at the top 24. Now, they're trying to get 3 points. It should be enough to get them into the top 24 because of the vagaries of other fixtures. I think they don't have to worry about everybody winning around them necessarily to get through. They're one of 5 teams on 8 points from, and then just beneath them, from Bodo Glimt down to Ajax in 32nd, they're on 6 points. So they can overhaul Napoli as well if they don't get the result tonight. For Chelsea, a win, Scott, may not be enough, because if they don't win by enough goals and Barcelona and Sporting win their games tonight, then Chelsea get overhauled and they'll have to deal with an extra 2 games. I
mean, it is quite mental for both these sides. You know, obviously Chelsea want to get into the top 8 and not have the playoffs. Napoli want to get into the playoffs. You know, either side, you're talking from an individual basis, can win and still not get what they want. Or they could lose and get what they want because of what's going on around them. And I think we are going to see lots of twists and turns, not just in this match, but all around Europe. And I think that gives them a massive pat on the back to UEFA in the way that they've worked this particular format out.
Biggest test of Liam Rosenior's fledgling managerial career as Chelsea get underway on Talksport 2 as the whistles ring around the Stadio Diego Maradona. Chelsea in their change strip of the dark shirts, shorts and socks. Napoli in their familiar light blue shirts and socks with white shorts. And Reece James works the ball back, and it does appear that he is playing at centre half with Gusto playing at right back for Chelsea tonight. Up goes João Pedro trying to win a header, but it's rolled back to Alex Merritt, who is keeping goal in place of Vanja Milinkovic-Savic. There's a Napoli player gone down already off the ball, and it's a pretty clattering challenge that's gone in on, I think it's Gio Di Lorenzo who's gone down. He's getting treatment.
Yes, it is. It wasn't a sort of like an overly physical challenge, but it's definitely caught him in a sore point as he's gone down on the hip. But look, we talk about Liam, and it's the biggest game for him so far as a manager, but he'll get bigger for sure. But they could, it's a massive week, isn't it, really, when you think about it? They could qualify for the top 8 and miss out on the playoffs in the Champions League and get towards the round of 16. There's the London derby on Saturday, a game I know very well. And there's a chance of beating the best team in England and Europe, of getting into a cup final. And look, United did it at the weekend, so why can't Chelsea? So this could be an incredible week.
Actually, Di Lorenzo was caught by his own player. An inadvertent knee from Juan Jesus caught Di Lorenzo high up on the thigh. He's back on his feet, the Napoli captain. Should be able to continue, but this is something that Antonio Conte could ill afford to have. We mentioned there's only 5 outfield players on the Napoli bench this evening, including one Romelu Lukaku.
Yeah, I mean, Di Lorenzo is a defender, and I think even if an attacker went off, then it wouldn't be Lukaku coming on just yet because of
I could see him play centre half.
He probably could, but no, I think that's a painful one. As you say, it's his own teammate Juan Jesus who's come in quite physically and caught him in the hip, and Chelsea want to play in him for a few minutes.
Arsenal are already 1-0 up in their celebratory party against Kairat Almaty. Victor Gyökeres scoring early for Arsenal. We're back underway on Talksport 2 after that brief pause, and Reece James works the ball back to Wesley Fofana, midway point of his own half. To his left is the shaggy-haired Marc Cucurella, but his attempted ball downfield goes straight out play, much to the delight of the locals, and Napoli get a throw, and they're back to their full complement. Di Lorenzo back out there. The ball's back with keeper Alex Merritt, who, as I mentioned, is ahead of Milinkovic-Savic at the moment because of injury to the Serbian keeper. Thigh problem he's got. He's only kept a couple of clean sheets in the 5 Serie A games he's played in, Alex Merritt. Works the ball out to the left-hand side. Oliveira tucks it in field. And it does appear that Matheus Oliveira is indeed playing on the left-hand side that Leonardo Spinazzola would normally occupy. So the vastly experienced Italian left-back will be playing on the right for Napoli this evening. Here is Oliveira again, just outside his own penalty area, tight to the near touchline. Tries to work it upfield, but it's won back by Gusto. Rolled into the area, edge of the area by Enzo Fernandez, but Juan Jesus can just guard that ball and let it trickle back to his goalkeeper. Spinazzola hits it long, looking to get Højlund away down the right-hand side. Fofana was being pushed, dealt with it well anyway, and Chelsea win a free kick. 0-0 with 3 minutes gone on Talksport 2.
Well, that's something that the 2 centre-halves will have to deal with for sure, that long ball, and we know that Rasmus Højlund, might not have been clinical for and prolific for Manchester United, but he can work hard and be a real physical battle for a centre-half if you're not up for it.
Athletic Bilbao already 1-0 up on Sporting, one of those teams who can theoretically overhaul Chelsea for 8th spot, even if Chelsea get the 3 points. So that's good news for Liam Rosenior straight away from Bilbao, that Athletic Club have the lead. Athletic are going to qualify, it would appear, for the playoffs, 19th place. And away come Napoli. Di Lorenzo, who's back on his feet, but his opposite number captain wins it, does Reece James. And now Chelsea are away. Pedro Neto, fleet of foot down the left-hand side for Chelsea, gets into the box. Jesus trying to hold him up. Poor ball back to the edge of the area. Gave it straight to Scott McTominay, and Napoli bring it clear, 0-0.
I don't know what he was doing there. I mean, it was a really good run from him in behind. And that was because he got the ball that he was onside. And as he sprinted, he's got towards the edge of the box. He's looked up and he's cut the ball back, and no one's there.
More good news for Chelsea. Barcelona are 1 down at home to FC Copenhagen, who Napoli couldn't get past 2 weeks ago.
That's brilliant news. That is brilliant news. I mean, what would be heartbreaking if Chelsea win here in Napoli in the cauldron in Naples, and yet the other teams win big and Chelsea don't finish in the top 8. So, I mean, that's certainly very good. Chelsea need to concentrate on themselves, try and get the result, get the 3 points, and you get the feeling if they do, the odds are that they probably will finish in the top 8, but that's certainly a very good scoreline, not result.
But not good for Napoli is that Club Brugge have gone 1-0 up against Marseille, Mamadou Diakon. So Brugge have moved into the top 24. Marseille are down to 25th. They've been knocked out, and Napoli currently standing in 27th place. God, it's going to give me a headache before we get to 9:30.
There'll only be about another 30,000 changes between now
and
the
you know, Sanchez, very heavy first touch, almost allowed Napoli to try and steal the ball back. Very nearly broke just outside the area for Elmas, the Swede, but instead it's across to the left-hand side and Cucurella. He gets it back down the left-hand side from Neto, who's on his bike trying to get over the halfway line, but Napoli have won it back. Barreling run down the right-hand side, but Fofana stays on his feet and very calmly wins the ball back. Caicedo almost trod on the ball, and clearance by Sanchez comes off McTominay, who was charging down the keeper on 6 yards. I think he took that full in the face, Scott McTominay, and it ricocheted in the end well over the crossbar for a goal kick. But a nervy moment at the back for Chelsea, 0-0.
Yeah, I mean, Enzo Fernandez is claiming a foul, and I think it was personally, but do you know what? If the referee's going to play like that the whole game, that's fine. It's going to be free-flowing, it's going to be quite physical. I don't mind that, but if you're going to play like that, make sure you're like that for the rest of the game. Suddenly then you're on the back foot, and the ball's... Moises Caicedo receives the ball, but he doesn't really know where he is, or he tries to turn on it, and his first touch isn't brilliant. He plays it back to Rob Sanchez. It's not a great pass back, and Scott McTominay, as he's closing down Caicedo, then follows on his run towards Rob Sanchez, who, by the way, makes the right decision, just trying to get rid of it. Don't be silly in there. But it catches Scott McTominay right on the face, and he's down.
It's a stinger.
Oh, yeah, do you know what? That's an early first round punch that's put you on the canvas. Yeah, I'm sure he'll get up, but hopefully he'll be okay.
Well, he's just lying flat on his back and getting treatment, so we're not playing at the moment. There's a pause whilst Antonio Conte paces up and down this technical area like a caged tiger, hoping against hope that not another injury. I could do without somebody going off. By the way, Kairat Almaty equalised at Arsenal. Jorginho scored a penalty, 1-1 at Emirates Stadium. Kairat can't qualify. Arsenal already safely through. So if you want an as things stand table, this will change about 25 times between now and about 9:45. But Chelsea are going to qualify in 7th as things stand. Napoli will not qualify in 27th place. All the English teams, apart from Newcastle, will qualify automatically, because Newcastle have just gone 1-0 down against Paris Saint-Germain in Paris, in the French capital. And it's Vitinha who scored from midfield for PSG.
That's going to be tough for them to come back with the injuries they've got as well.
That's live on Talksport right now with Jim Proudfoot and Stuart Pearce.
Scott McTominay, though, they breed him tough where he's from. He'll be fine.
Oh, yeah, indeed. What a career shift it's been for Scott McTominay. 13 goals in his first season, won the Serie A MVP last season in helping Napoli to the title. He scored 9 goals this season already in all competitions. So pleased for him. So pleased. Made the move abroad. You're never quite sure how it's going to work. And actually, Manchester United could have done with him for the last 18 months. I wholeheartedly agree. He'll be a big part of Scotland's World Cup. Every game at the Summer World Cup live across the Talksport network from early June. Here come Chelsea at 0-0, 9.5 minutes gone. Esteval will get his first meaningful touch really now. Inside right channel, works it out to Gusto. Level with the 18-yard line. He tucks it in field for Caicedo. Gives it back to Gusto. And now James works it out to Esteval. Esteval gives it back to the Chelsea skipper, who's midway point of the Napoli half. works it back in field. Little touch wide for Reece James once again. Gusto hugging the near touchline, right in front of Liam Rosenior, who's just rubbing the back of his head in irritated fashion that Gusto didn't do what he wanted, because Chelsea now having to work the ball all the way back to their keeper Robert Sanchez. 10 minutes on the clock at the Stadio Diego Maradona on Talksport 2. Scott Minto alongside me. It's Napoli 0, Chelsea 0. And here come Chelsea with Joao Pedro in the centre of the Napoli half. Esteban moving in field just ahead of him, starts to make a run. Pedro looks for him down the right hand side of the box. Esteban wins a corner off Juan Jesus. 0-0.
Yeah, you're just saying they had to go back in the end to Rob Sanchez. I don't mind that. You know, one thing you need to do here is kill the crowd.
Short corner, Gusto chips it deep to the far post, headed back across the face of goal by Reece James, but a very comfortable catch for Meret in the Napoli goal. In fact, forgive me, it was a header from Andre Santos that was well saved in the end. So, Manchester City have the lead against Galatasaray. I'll give you one guess.
Bruno?
No. Erling Haaland.
Sorry, I thought you said Manchester United there.
No, Manchester City won. I might have said Manchester United, who knows? Erling Haaland anyway, unless he's made a shock transfer across the city.
So he's back.
That Alex Crook never told us about. That never went in his transfer notebook on the TalkSport website, did it? Now Napoli coming forward down the right hand side. Lobotka, he's trying to get inside Cucurella, good foot in, but it's won back by Napoli. Good strong feet from Stanislav Lobotka. Spinazzola waiting on the right wing, gets it now. Only Højlund in the area. Elmas coming to join him, and Vergara and McTominay, and it's gone out of play for throw right by the corner flag on Napoli's right hand side. 0-0.
Do you know what? Lobotka had a real opportunity there to play a cross in early. He tried to sort of take the extra touch, and then Cucurella was able to block the cross. But if he'd have played it early, then Rasmus Højlund, I think, would have got into that cross first. Whether he would have finished or not is a different matter, but Chelsea just need to be careful about that ball round the back. Bayer
Leverkusen 1-0 upon Villarreal. Malik Tillman. Germans are moving on to 12 points as things stand, which should be enough to keep them in the playoff zone, barring an absolute catastrophic set of results. So in the Champions League, the games with goals, as Napoli come forward, Cucurella clears up to Joao Pedro, who brings it down brilliantly on his chest and works it out wide to Esteban. I'll give you the scores in a minute, because Chelsea are coming forward at 0-0. Joao Pedro down the right hand side of the Napoli box, tries to step inside his man. Support from Gusto at the right hand corner of the area. He gets the cross in, deflection on it, and it's cleared away by the Napoli defence, but only as far as Reece James, who tucks it in field for Caicedo. Caicedo across via Santos and out to the left hand side, and Pedro Neto. 13 minutes played on TalkSport 2 in the Champions League.
I don't mind this.
Reece James.
Yeah, I don't mind this. Chelsea keeping the ball. Don't need to give it away.
Esteval plays the ball into the feet of Joao Pedro, but his layoff back to halfway saw McTominay win it, and then he was fouled by Caicedo. So as I was saying, the games with goals in the Champions League: Leverkusen 1, Villarreal 0. Bruges now 2-0 up on Marseille. Romeo Vermont with a second for the Belgians. Manchester City 1 up on Galatasaray. Haaland. PSG 1 up on Newcastle, live on TalkSport. Vitinha. And those are the games with goals. Everything else is goalless in the 18 games, although Sporting have equalised at Athletic Club. Usman Diamande makes it 1-1 in Bilbao. Now Højlund clearly pushes Fofana to the ground, chasing after it, and you mentioned it, he's got a point to prove to a watching English audience. Rasmus Højlund, on loan from Manchester United, 9 goals, all competitions for Napoli this season. That's not a bad return.
No, it's not. I mean, he could be hitting 15 by the end of the season. I think that would be very good indeed. And absolutely, I mean, clearly he's not English, but didn't happen for him in England in the Premier League. So I think against the Premier League side, he will just be up for this just a little bit more.
Chelsea in 8th in the as it stands table after that Sporting equaliser. Sporting now lurking just beneath them in 9th. Atletico Madrid in 10th. They're goalless at the minute in their game. Esteban for Chelsea at 0-0, coming forward, tries to tuck it in field to Joao Pedro, but Napoli hunting in packs, but they've given away a free kick as Joao Pedro was caught 25 to 30 yards out, right dead centre somebody's going to smack it goalwards here for Chelsea, 0-0.
Yeah, I'm not sure it was a foul, really. João Pedro just kind of put his foot in front of the Napoli player, and then he's gone down and look as if he's been poleaxed, but it doesn't matter. He's got the free kick. He's won it. It's very professional. It's 30 yards out, right in front of goal. So really, whoever does decide to take it could go either side. Liverpool 1-0 up on Karabakh at Anfield. Give you the score in a minute, but it is 1-0 to Arne Slot's team. Free kick for Chelsea here with a quarter of an hour gone. Reece James is eyeing it up. The Napoli wall has been moved back by the referee Clément Turpin to just inside the 18-yard line, but it's very central. Gives you an idea of just how far out this is. Easy, well, I say easy, but in theory easy for somebody to get the ball up and down over the wall and trouble the keeper with this one. Yes, if it's right on the edge of the box, then it's really difficult and maybe just the best to hammer it. Here it might be, you know, one of those where you hit it hard, it goes over the wall, but just kind of really dips at the last moment.
Estevao, Enzo and James all standing over it. There's a four-man Napoli wall. It's rolled short to James, hits it into that wall, and the ball's gone into the arms of the keeper. But what's the referee given here? Has he said that's a... Is he given a penalty or a booking? I think he might have booked Buongiorno here. Was that a handball by Buongiorno? Well, it looked like it could have been a handball inside the wall by Juan Jesus. And I think Chelsea have been given a penalty here, Scott Minto.
Yeah, it's not the best of free kicks. And look, you know, his arm is out. I mean, it's still quite close to his body. But his arm, there's no doubt about it, is out and it's hit the arm. He's claiming that his arm was straight next to his arm. It wasn't. It was almost straight from the shoulder to elbow, and then from elbow to hand it was out. And I think if it was just a complete vertical where his arm was, then and hit his arm, then maybe it wouldn't be given. He's a buttle referee, isn't it?
Well, Clément Turpin, a vastly experienced UEFA official, but he has given Chelsea a massive opportunity here to give themselves a bit of breathing space in the top 8 of this Champions League mega table. And it's Enzo Fernandez who's going to take the responsibility from the penalty spot against Alex Meret. The whistle's going up around the stadium.
Massive moment. Massive moment.
It is a huge moment in this game, and we're only in the 18th minute of the first half. Fernandez only now stepping back 4 or 5 paces from the ball. Can he put Chelsea in front? In Naples, Meret waits on his goal line. Enzo Fernandez trying to stare out the keeper. Still standing still. Now he moves forward, right-footed, finds the bottom corner, and Chelsea lead in Naples through Enzo Fernandez. Super penalty. Meret guessed right and dived to his right, but couldn't keep it out because it was perfectly placed by Chelsea's World Cup winner. It is Napoli 0, Chelsea 1.
Do you know what? Even without the goal, Dan, it's been a really good start from Chelsea. They've dominated possession. Napoli haven't had a shot on or off target. And whether you think it's harsh or not, there's no doubt about it, the referee can say to the letter of the law, his arm from the elbow to the hand was out and it shouldn't have been. And Enzo Fernandez, of course, scored with the penalty at the weekend at Selhurst Park. And he put it on the other side. And it's almost as if he took so much of his time that the referee blew his whistle. I'm thinking, did Enzo hear him blow his whistle because it was taking so much time? It was almost like, did he watch me at the weekend? Did he know where I put it?
I think he's just trying to psych out Meret. It worked. I mean, he scored the goal, and that's 11 for the season for Enzo Fernandez.
He went the right way, the keeper. So in that sense, he didn't psych him out. But because he hit it with such power and precision, it's a great penalty.
Well, that's 56 matches in a row in Europe where a Chelsea game has had a goal. Incredible. No goalless fixtures for ages for Chelsea Football Club. But they lead on Talksport 2. Napoli trying to respond, getting down the right-hand side, working the ball into the edge of the area. It might break left-hand side of the box for Oliveira, pushed out by Sanchez with his left claw, and then put out of play by Gusto for a Napoli throw as the Italian champions try to respond.
Come on, you know when you score especially playing here in Naples, that they're going to come right at you straight away. And Chelsea just almost asleep at the back. Rob Sanchez, really strong hand as that cross came in, but they shouldn't have been allowed so much time. You have to say, there's two opportunities where they could have had a shot. Elmas, I feel, should have had a shot. He's almost in front of goal, but he lays it out to Oliveira, and as he crosses, yeah, good strong hand from Sanchez.
Napoli 0, Chelsea 1. Chelsea up to 6th in the as it stands table, 16 points. Tottenham now outside the top 8. They're in Frankfurt tonight. Frankfurt already eliminated. That's 0-0. So Tottenham and Newcastle, neither of whom are winning outside the automatic round of 16 qualification spots. Liverpool are now 2-0 up against Karabakh, but they're already through.
Does your table automatically update, or do you have to refresh it every
No,
second?
it automatically updates.
I'll tell you, that's good.
I've got the abacus and slide rule next to me just in case.
You'll be clicking on that button every 10 seconds otherwise.
Well, I'd get repetitive strain injury. 20 minutes gone on Talksport 2. Napoli 0, Chelsea 1. Scott Minto, former Chelsea fullback, alongside me, Ian Danta, bringing you full commentary of this one. One back by Napoli on halfway. McTominay works it out to Elmas, approaching the left-hand corner of the penalty area, jockeying Reece James, rolls it back to Lobotka. Lobotka just flicks it to his right. Di Lorenzo brings in Spinazzola up against Cucurella, level with that. Oh, lovely ball for Di Lorenzo in space, pulls it back across the face of goal, and it's the right boot of Robert Sanchez that turns it behind for a corner. Chelsea went to sleep and left Di Lorenzo, the Napoli captain, in acres of space in the box, but his cross went behind.
Again, they've gone to sleep defensively, and we can't afford to have this. Two players have gone to the ball. Di Lorenzo's gone in behind, and for the second time a ball's been whipped in around about the 6-yard box. Has been defended well, but can't allow those crosses to come in.
Napoli haven't lost in the Champions League or in Serie A all season at this stadium, but they're behind. They've won a corner. Spinazzola works it down the right hand side of the box. It's pulled back looking for McTominay. Enzo heads clear, nodded back into the box. Vergara trying to turn on the 6-yard line. Oliveira brings it down, tries to drive it goal. It's brilliant block by Reece James. Still Napoli have it, right hand side of the area now, and the cross comes in and claimed at his near post by Sanchez. Boy oh boy, that was nervy stuff at the back for Chelsea midway through the half, but Chelsea lead 1-0.
Fantastic tackle from Reece James, brilliant block, it really was, just threw his body at Oliveira. I mean, it's equivalent of a goal. So I don't think Rob Sanchez is going to get anywhere near that with the power from just 6 yards out. 2, 3, 4 occasions now, Chelsea since the goal have allowed Napoli already to get into the box and whip the ball in.
Here is Elmas again, who was part of that attacking movement that Napoli had. He's on the halfway line, Elmas, being forced slightly into his own half by Malo Gusto. So now it's back with Buongiorno and Jesus, whose left arm gave away that penalty in the Napoli wall. Little flick on by Højlund trying to get Di Lorenzo away, but Chelsea comfortably snaffle back possession. So Manchester City and Chelsea in 7th and 6th, Liverpool in 3rd, Arsenal of course top of the shop. Bayern Munich are only drawing at the minute, so Arsenal top the mega table. Not that it means anything, topping the mega table, you don't win anything for that.
No, I mean, they're already finished in the top 2. The top 2 at least guarantee themselves home legs in the second leg.
What I mean is they should get a league leader shield like they're doing Super League for the Rugby League, you know, before the playoff starts and the grand final. Hey, that's not long before Super League starts, and that's next month. Talksport 2 gives you regular Rugby League commentaries across the campaign through to October, when the grand final takes place at Old Trafford. Mark Wilson, the best in the business, will be your commentator for so many of those games, with former Man of Steel Paul Cook. Chelsea need men of steel out there tonight in this intimidating atmosphere in Naples, but they're 1-0 up. They're doing what they have to do, Liam Rosenior's men. But since going in front, Napoli have just shaded it territorially, Scott Minto.
No, I think they've more than just shaded it, to be honest with you, and they've got themselves towards the byline, in behind the Chelsea defence, and whipped the ball across. And if it wasn't for strong hands from Rob Sanchez or a brilliant block from Reece James, then it could be 1-1. And that's the last thing we want, really, because, this crowd are desperate to get behind their team, and it's been a brilliant start for Chelsea. For even put the goal to one side, the way they've kept the ball, had the majority of the possession. Napoli haven't yet had a shot on target. Can't afford to just switch off just because you've gone 1-0 up.
Chelsea's goal difference is +7 as things stand, which is fine, that'll do. Sporting a 1-1 there, goal difference is 5. If Sporting go in front in their game, then we have to watch what their goal difference is if Chelsea were to concede. That's where the jeopardy really starts to kick in. By the way, the 2 Liverpool goals came from Alexis McAllister and Florian Wirtz against Karabakh. They lead 2-0 at Anfield. All very neat and tidy there for Arne Slot and co. Lobotka, lovely turn at the edge of his own penalty area to get away for Napoli. Gets it back and chips it over the top. And away down the right-hand side goes Vergara for Napoli. 4 to aim at in the box. Comes in and it's headed behind by the captain, Reece James. Great positioning at the near post because there were plenty forward in sky blue for that right-wing cross. Corner to Napoli, Chelsea 1-0 up.
Yeah, it's almost as if subconsciously they've kind of just dropped the level, Chelsea, since the goal. I think that's the 4th time now that Napoli have been able to get in behind the Chelsea defence and whip a ball in. Very good positional play from Reece James.
Right wing corner for Napoli, a left-footed in-swinger to come. In it comes now. Up goes Sanchez, claims it and dropped it, but he dropped it into space where he could pick it up on the bounce.
No, I don't mind that at all. Strong goalkeeper that comes out. Okay, he might drop it a little bit, but at least you know what's going to happen.
And now Chelsea bring it into the Napoli half and then slow things down a bit. Pedro Neto got about 15 yards inside opposition territory and then just put the brakes on and looked up to see where his teammates were, and now they're slowing the game down, Chelsea.
Yeah, just on that with the goalkeeper coming out, I played in front of David James and you knew that he would come for them.
Well, Neto trying to get in behind Oliveira, and he tried to take a shot, well blocked by the keeper. João Pedro with an overhead kick from the right hand side of the box, trying to get it on target. It was well wide in the end, but suddenly Pedro Neto, well, we know he's rapid, and he was well rapid to get inside Oliveira. But I think the keeper, Alex Merritt, deserves a bit of merit for what he did. Yeah. Caught it with his face, actually. And it goes wide and it's a goal kick.
And then João Pedro has tried one of the goals of the season with an overhead kick. He actually could have brought it down. It nearly went back to Pedro Neto. But look, I mean, it started off with Estevao on the right and Pedro Neto on the left. But I'd keep him on the right, Pedro Neto.
Oh, Højlund has rolled his man on halfway. Works it out to the inside left channel. Oliveira now pushing forward. Again, there's blue shirts in support. Elmas down the left-hand side of the penalty area. Gusto sticking with him. It's worked back to Buongiorno. Now Elmas again. Will he take on Gusto down to the byline? No, he flicks it back to Oliveira. First time ball into the box. Headed away by Fofana. McTominay was after it. Lobbed into the area by Di Lorenzo. Played himself onside. Goes for goal and blocked behind by Sanchez with his feet once again. Another Napoli corner. Chelsea still lead. Just.
Well, that's what, the 4th or 5th occasion that Napoli have produced a chance, and it's all about Di Lorenzo. He won the ball first of all, he's got there first, and because he's followed his run, obviously he's not offside. Really good save from Rob Sanchez.
But it's a corner to Napoli. Right-footed in-swinger, that I think it's Elmas that's going to take it down to the left-hand side. Lobotka's waiting at the left-hand corner of the penalty area if he wants to roll it back to a player in space. A packed 6-yard box. In it comes deep to the far post. Up go the head's nodded down, and it's a comfortable save for Sanchez as the ball bounces in front of him and he can pick it up at chest height. Napoli 0, Chelsea 1 on Talksport 2 as we approach the half hour. Manchester City doubled their lead against Galatasaray. Ryan Cherki. So 2-0 to the citizens. But the team in sky blue in Naples have more than a bit of work to do, because as it stands, Antonio Conte and Napoli will not finish in the top 24.
This is the moment where, when we all talk about senior pros. This is where you want your senior pros, in this type of atmosphere where the team, you've gone 1-0 up, but the team is really coming at you. You need to be able to keep the ball. It's exactly what they're trying to do now.
Cucurella finds Enzo in the centre circle. Plays the ball out to Estevao. Now can he have a run at Oliveira here? Jinks in field now, Estevao. Puts the ball into the box. It was a lovely ball in. So nearly found its way through to Pedro Neto. Great invention from Estevao, but intercepted by Di Lorenzo, and Napoli have the ball back in their goalkeeper's hands as Athletic take the lead again against Sporting. That's more good news for Chelsea. Gorka Guruzeta with a second for Athletic Club in that tie against Sporting, who are one of those teams who could, with a goal glut, overhaul Chelsea tonight if things don't go their way.
That's great news. That's great news. I'll say it'd be heartbreaking if Chelsea were to win in Naples and yet still don't get into the top 8, but I take 1-0 now, to be honest with you, Dance, and just trust that the results will go elsewhere.
Well, normally you'd say win and you've done your job, but it's not as simple as that for Chelsea tonight, although as it stands it is enough.
It's not simple for other clubs to do what they need to do to get into the top 8, is it?
Controlled by Jesus and then knocked back by Lobotka to his goalkeeper. This game brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. Half an hour gone at the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona. Real Madrid lead at Benfica. Kylian Mbappe putting them ahead. Benfica, they are unfortunately one of those teams going to miss out on playoff football, it would appear, at the Stadium of Light. There's a Napoli player down again, but they're just picking themselves up. Can't quite see who it is. Oh, it's Oliveira, who had a proper shoulder charge from Malo Gusto and then just got a boot caught accidentally in the back of the neck into the bargain. Lovely, just what you need.
I'm just looking at the replay of that chance where Pedro Neto got him behind. I'm not sure if it's Oliveira who actually stuck out his foot and hit his keeper's in the face.
Good interception from Wesley Fofana as Napoli tried to send the ball downfield and get Højlund in behind. Chelsea now hit it long downfield, but that's well ahead of Estevao. Even he's not that quick to catch that ball up, and Buongiorno works it out of his own penalty area.
Look, it's a long way to go still. It's been a brilliant 30 minutes. Liam Rossini must be really happy so far.
Højlund on the charge again, but this time across comes Andre Santos. Oh, Napoli win it back, and it's Vergara running towards the edge of the area. Little spin from Vergara, still going. What a goal! What a goal! 1-1. Antonio Vergara sets the Stadio Diego Maradona alight with a goal that the little magician himself would have been proud of. Lovely pirouette inside the area to get away from Chelsea defenders, and then a cool finish slotted into the corner past Sanchez. It's all square in Naples on the half hour. Napoli won, Chelsea won.
Well, just as I was saying, Liam Rossini would be delighted with the first half an hour, and he would have been. Can't allow these players to have the space, find little pockets, turn, and then just do what he did. I mean, I think it was Fofana who allowed him just to turn in the box. And I don't know what he was doing. Just stay on your feet, don't dive in, stay goal side. He picks up the ball, Vergara. Moises Caicedo tries to get close to him, he can't do it. Fofana, he just turns Fofana. Don't know what he's trying to do by make a tackle. And then he puts his arm in the air as if, like, I'm not going to foul, but don't make the tackle in the first place. Just stay on your feet, jockey him towards the left-hand side, and then he's not able to get a shot in. By diving in with your feet, then you've allowed him to go past him. He could have even won a penalty, to be totally honest with you. He gets the shot off, goes into the corner. Sanchez made a couple of good saves already. He's had no chance there, but where's Fofana? You're the last man. You've got to stay on your feet and shepherd him away from goal.
And that goal knocks Chelsea out of the top 8. As things stand, with Atletico Madrid winning and Tottenham still 0-0 against Frankfurt, Chelsea are down in 9th place. It's not good enough for Napoli to get in the top 24, that goal. They're still outside the qualification spots. Napoli need more, but they've got themselves on terms. And you have to say, Scott Minto, with 9 minutes to half-time, the way they played since going behind, you can't begrudge them that equaliser.
No, I think the first 20 minutes, I think Chelsea were absolutely superb. But since the goal, they kind of dropped off, and we talked about it. You can't allow this Napoli side to do it. Yes, they got a lot of injuries. Yes, they're perhaps not hit the heights of last season, but they're a very proud team in this particular stadium. And you can't allow them 4 or 5 occasions to whip the ball in behind, and I just think that's really disappointing defending.
Well, we hear this phrase a lot. He's one of our own. They would sing that around the stadium for Antonio Vergara, an academy graduate at Napoli, went on loan to Reggiana last season, back in the squad in Antonio Conte's plans, and he's just scored the goal of his life to bring Napoli back into this contest. 1-1 the score, 10 minutes to half time, and now Vergara's actually won a free kick just shy of the halfway line. And now Chelsea have got 10 minutes or so, I think, to negotiate here, Scott, and get to half-time without any further damage done.
Yeah, I mean, I'd prefer it just to have been 0-0, no goals. And I think the crowd would be a lot quieter than they are right now.
Though, big moment. Bodo Glimt have equalised against Atletico Madrid. Fredrik Sjovold. So that means that Chelsea are back in 8th, because Atletico Madrid have dropped out into 9th because of Bodo Glimt's equaliser.
Just the 25,000 different permutations to go, mate.
Have you got any paracetamol? No? Typical. I ask you to bring some painkillers.
We'll have a beer after. That's a good painkiller.
Now that's an idea. So, 1-1. Are you keeping up wherever you're listening to Talksport 2? Chelsea, as it stands, despite being pegged back by Napoli, are still making it through. But if Napoli get another goal, then fortunes for these two sides flip completely. It would mean that Chelsea would drop out of the top 8 and would have to deal with an extra 2 games of football to make it to the round of 16, and Napoli would be very grateful for an extra 2 games of football, because they would get in to one of those positions between 9th and 24th to guarantee some extra football.
Yeah, and I know that Bodo Glimt beat Manchester City. I mean, I covered that game, but that was in Norway. You know, the away from home.
Right, Napoli are winning everything at the moment, because Vergara's just won another free kick, being shoved in the back by Pedro Neto, and a little foot across him as well for good measure. But it is a free kick to Napoli as Benfica equalise against Real Madrid. That's 1-1 now in the Estadio da Luz. Schleder up with the equaliser for the Portuguese.
Go on, Benfica.
Scott Minto, in case you aren't aware, kids, he used to play for Benfica.
Although a long time ago.
I've never tested his Portuguese, but then my Portuguese is limited to Misto Quente.
Eu falava português, mas agora não.
Cheese toasty, I think, Misto Quente.
I used to speak Portuguese, but not anymore.
Wouldn't work on Talksport 2, in fairness. Here is Enzo Fernandez. 7.5 minutes to half-time. Delicately poised in Naples. Napoli 1, Chelsea 1. A scoreline with everything else going on around us on this final night of the Champions League is going to be good enough for Chelsea to finish in the top 8. But it's not good enough for Napoli to make a qualification spot. So the jeopardy is still there for both clubs. Enzo Fernandez, whose penalty put Chelsea in front, inside left position, works it out to the left-hand side, and Pedro Neto not quite level with the 18-yard line. There's 4 Chelsea players waiting on the edge of the box for the ball to be slid through to them, including Cucurella's pushed further forward from left-back. Caicedo, dead centre of the half, now works it out to Malo Gusto on the Chelsea right, faced up by Oliveira. Poor ball in field by Gusto, picked off by Napoli, and worked back. Buongiorno gives the ball back to his keeper Meret. Had to clear first time of asking. 3-1 Arsenal against Cara Almaty, Gabriel Martinelli. So after the disappointment of Sunday afternoon against Manchester United, they're getting it right tonight. Now it's Scott McTominay driving forward from midfield for Napoli, clips it out to Spinazzola on the Napoli right, faced up by Cucurella. Di Lorenzo on the overlap. Spinazzola puts it in on the deck, laid off back to the edge of the area. Vergara again is wide with a shot teed up by McTominay, but couldn't wrap his left foot round it. And the goal scorer puts his next effort at goal well wide of the post. Goal kick 1-1.
No, it's not good defending from Chelsea at the moment. They're just staying off 4 or 5 yards off any Napoli player. When the ball's on the right-hand side, they're not getting tight, stopping the cross coming in. McTominay lays it off. And Vergara will be disappointed he's not hit the target there. He's just at the edge of the box, so just over 18 yards out. He's dead centre in front of goal. He should be hitting the target from there.
He was falling backwards as he took the shot, slightly off balance.
And that was because his first touch wasn't very good. If it was better, could have been real dangerous.
McTominay did do his best to tee him up, when McTominay equally could have taken a touch and gone for goal himself. Just over 5 minutes to go in the first half on Talksport 2. Poor ball in field from Chelsea, won back by Napoli, and McTominay again trying to roll his opposite number, Enzo Fernandez. Gets the ball back to the three centre-halves, and Di Lorenzo joining in. Finds Lobotka. Di Lorenzo and Lobotka again combining passes. 1-1 the score. Buongiorno now, one of the three centre-halves. Knocks it back for Juan Jesus. Clips the ball long downfield. Brought down out of the sky by Reece James and kept it away from the advancing Rasmus Højlund, who thought he was going to be able to take the ball off Reece James's toe. How's he done at centre-half for you tonight, the skipper, Reece James?
Done really well, really well. I mean, he's a world-class player. He's a world-class player at right-back. I wouldn't say he's quite world-class as in centre-mid, but we know he can do it. Look at the performance he put in against PSG in the Club World Cup final, amongst others.
See, I don't mind Reece James at centre-back for the reason, if there is to be a reason, is that he's less likely to get injured doing his hamstrings thumping up and down the touchline.
I know Enzo Maresca and the medical team obviously were concerned about him being that right back, and I think he is a truly world-class right back. But absolutely, I mean, his fitness has been very good, hasn't it, touchwood? Yeah. But yeah, you need to be careful in the positions. Certainly at centre-half you can read the game, and he reads the game so well. He's got it all.
It's Thomas Tuchel watching, you know. All cleared out of play by Juan Jesus for a throw, bang on halfway for Chelsea. Esteban was trying to steal the ball off him. But yeah, the England manager might, I don't know whether he'd take any notice at all of what his former club are doing with their skipper, playing him at centre-half tonight. Would it give him any food for thought whatsoever, or is it just, you know, needs must for Chelsea?
I mean, you know, there's three centre-halves on the bench, so I'm not sure it's needs must, but he'll definitely take notice of this, and he loves Reece James as a player for sure. I think he prefers him at right back, but so versatile. Definitely going to be in the squad.
1-1, 41 minutes played. Napoli coming forward, having equalised through this man Vergara. Works it down the right-hand side. Spinazzola chips the ball into the box. Chelsea getting a bit of a muddle between Fofana and Caicedo, and then Cucurella bails them out by clearing it. Poor touch by João Pedro. Protected by Lobotka, and one back by Jesus. Now Elmas for Napoli, approaching the left-hand corner of the area. On the underlap is Oliveira, across the face to goal, and turned in by Rasmus Højlund. And Napoli lead, and Chelsea go behind, and could be going out of the top 8. Napoli have turned it around, and in doing so have revived their fortunes of making it to the round of 24. But it was Oliveira on the underlap, pulled the ball across, and Højlund at the near post along the deck, steered it home past a helpless Sanchez. Boy, oh boy, what a turnaround. 2 minutes to half-time. It's now Napoli 2, Chelsea 1.
But I just don't get it. The first 20 minutes, Chelsea were bang on it. And, you know, they got the goal, and it's like, brilliant, right, keep on playing how you are. And it's almost as if they've just sat back, they're dropping off. Oliveira's running behind Esteban. Malagusto's not seen the run and tried to follow that and say to Esteban, well, you stay with the ball, I'll go with the run. And then Rasmus Højlund gets to the near post, and he gets there in front of Wes Fofana, giving Sanchez no chance whatsoever. I mean, you can say it's classic kind of play. Get the ball, have the underlap, cut it back or across, and then you get across the front post, striker. But as a defence, you should be able to stop that and read it.
I'm just watching the monitor pictures of Antonio Conte's reaction to that Rasmus Højlund goal. Clinical finish from the Manchester United loanee. And what that does is it drops Chelsea down to 12th, and it puts Napoli up to 19th, comfortably inside the qualification spots as we approach half-time. And so Newcastle and Chelsea are both outside, and Tottenham, even though they haven't scored at Frankfurt, are now in the top 8. They're in 7th. Here's Chelsea coming forward with Pedro Neto. Ball across the face to goal. Pedro heads over. Just couldn't climb enough inside the 6-yard box to keep the ball down. Good ball in from Pedro Neto. Found his teammate, but just couldn't stretch his neck muscles enough. João Pedro, and it ends up going behind for a Napoli goal kick. 2-1 to the Italians.
Well, it's better from Chelsea. It's the first proper attack on goal we've seen for a long time. And that's what you need to do. Pedro Neto find a way, just get half a yard to put the cross in. João Pedro is inside the 6-yard box, but he's not able to climb. I mean, he's jumped really high, but it's still too high for him. And I mean, if he gets that on target, keeper's got no chance.
Napoli 2, Chelsea 1. We're about to find out how many extra minutes there will be. There have been 1 or 2 stoppages. Certainly very early on, Di Lorenzo went down with a knock. Scott Minto shaking his head next to me, looking at what's occurring to Chelsea at the minute. Went ahead, started the game well, looked comfortable, but since going behind, Napoli have found an extra couple of gears. And as we move into 3 minutes of minimum stoppage time, they have it again on halfway with Elmas trying to get away from Caicedo. Strong run down the left-hand side, then he's caught by Caicedo. Quite a cynical challenge, but I think he might escape a yellow card here, Moises Caicedo. But a yellow card is going to be administered to the Napoli bench. Not, I think, to Antonio Conte, but to one of his assistants, who had a bit too much to say about the challenge. Yeah, it's not Conte who's been yellow carded. Maybe Caicedo could or should have been.
Well, we said, didn't we, about the referee early on. If he's going to let things go, then he needs to. I thought we got a little bit of a touch there. And if he didn't get a touch, it's a foul and a yellow card because he has tackled from behind.
So a free kick to Napoli. We played a minute of the 3 added on. Left-hand side, midway point of the Chelsea half. Vergara works it in field. Now it's out to the left-hand side at Elmas. Jinks away from Estevao. Left-hand corner of the area. Just to flick it past Cucurella. And then Gusto just says, have it. And does the old Peter Kay, John Smith's lump it downfield. I've seen that in Sunday League. It doesn't just happen in Sunday League. It happens in the Champions League as well. Anywhere will do.
Well, they're under pressure. I mean, you said it 10 minutes ago. The next 10 minutes, it's almost if Chelsea want to try and not concede again and get to half-time at 1-1. They're not been able to do it at the moment. Napoli feel like they can get a third before half-time.
They're working so hard in central midfield, Napoli, but Chelsea are trying to match it. And João Pedro finds Estevao, right-hand side, puts the ball in field, but Buongiorno won it, the centre-half, and he was tackled. And he celebrates winning a free kick like he's won the game.
Yeah, but this, I mean, this is what top teams do. And again, we go back to the sort of senior pros in the side. I mean, I like this side, but how many are real leaders when you're 1-0 up, the team's coming at you? The atmosphere is just absolutely incredible.
All right.
And you've got to be able to keep the ball and take the sting out of the situation.
Answer that question you just posed, and how many leaders are there out there for Chelsea?
Not enough.
Well, it's a free kick to Napoli. Chelsea have won it back, almost at the midway point of the half, but whoops, offside. And Oliveira ran straight into the referee. Nothing deliberate. Wasn't trying to crock him or anything. So a free kick to Napoli as we edge towards half-time. Papos won, Slavia Prague won in the Champions League, but that is effectively a dead rubber in that game. But this is not a dead rubber, anything but. And Chelsea are going to have to play 2 extra games as things stand, because the half-time whistle is gone. Chelsea went ahead when Juan Jesus handled a free kick that was sent into the box by Reece James. The referee gave the penalty, which was clinically dispatched by Enzo Fernandez for his 11th of the season, and it looked great for Chelsea at that point with 19 minutes played. But Napoli rallied. A brilliant goal by Antonio Vergara got Napoli level just after the half hour, and then 2 minutes before half time, Oliveira's pulled back across the face of goal, clinically steered home by Manchester United loanee Rasmus Højlund, and Napoli will qualify for the knockout stage, the playoff stage, as things stand, knocking Chelsea down so that they would have to play in the playoffs as well. Scott Minto, your reaction to that first 45 minutes?
Yeah, it's really disappointing because any Chelsea fan who's watching this would have seen a really good start to the game. And even before the goal, I'm thinking, yeah, this is exactly how you want to, you kind of dominating possession, not allowing them to create any chances. And wow, we've got a goal as well. Brilliant. Just keep on playing how we've been playing. And it's almost like Chelsea just kind of dropped off a little bit. And it's one thing to kind of drop off. There's another thing to when they have the ball in the final thirds and you're 2, 3, 4 yards away from them. You're not closing them down at all. Any overlaps or underlaps, you're not following it. People are just ball watching. And they had 4 or 5 occasions where, remember, Reece James made that brilliant block. Rob Sanchez made a couple of really good saves. There was a really good header away again by Reece James, and you're thinking, come on, this is where we need to get hold of the ball and go back to where we were at the start. And it didn't happen, and you have to say the goal was coming, really. Again, I felt that was poor defending. Wes Fofana should have just stayed on his feet and shepherded him away from goal, but it was a good strike, a good turn from Vegada for sure. And the 2-1 is the killer just before half-time, really. Again, not following the underlap. Ball whipped in. Fofana just half a yard short. It's a good finish from Højlund.
And big goal news over on Talksport. Newcastle United have equalised right on half-time in Paris. So PSG 1, Newcastle 1. Joe Willock. That has put Newcastle into 8th. So Newcastle 8th, Tottenham 6th, Manchester City up to 4th as Real Madrid have gone 2-1 down in their game. So Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester City, Tottenham and Newcastle all in the top 8. Chelsea, the only English club outside of that top 8 with this half-time scoreline. It is not good news for Liam Rosenior. Lots of work to do with his half-time team talk. We'll bring you the full second half live here on your home of the Champions League, Talksport 2. The half-time score at the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona is Napoli 2, Chelsea 1.
Ultimate Sports Radio.
What a moment!
This is Talksport 2.
Champions League live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
Simply Business.
How does it feel to have my own plumbing business?
Simply Business.
Except I've just cut off something I shouldn't have.
Simply Business.
Now my arm's in plaster and the bathroom's flooded.
Simply Business.
Well, at least I know I'm insured. Guess who sorted it?
Simply Business.
For business insurance quotes in as little as 7 minutes, search
Simply Business.
Terms, conditions and acceptance criteria apply. UK only.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
And yes, we will build the wall.
The ladies not for turning.
It's going to be a U-turn.
It's pulling the U-turn from Labour.
Zurika about the U-turn.
Times change, but for over 240 years, the Times and Sunday Times have been on the ground, delivering in-depth, trusted reporting, so you can understand what's really going on. Times change. The Times remains.
Hawksby and Jacobs on your side every weekday afternoon from 1 on Talksport with Toolstation, delivering cutting-edge comment, a catalogue of riveting guests, and drilled-down dialogue to power up your lunchtime. Plus, breaking news, views, and loads of laughs. Don't miss the nation's favourite sporting lunch with the legendary Hawksby and Jacobs every weekday afternoon from 1 on Talksport with Toolstation. Next stop, Toolstation.
Online, on DAB+, and on the app. This is Talksport 2.
Boot it! Saturday afternoon, live championship football on Talksport 2.
Oh, what about that?
Leicester City versus Charlton Athletic.
Pre-match walk-on starts at 12 noon. Rough and tumble begins at 12:30.
Saturday afternoon,
King-size coverage of the EFL. Live on Talksport 2.
The Social, tomorrow afternoon from 3 on Talksport 2. An in-depth look at the biggest sports stories.
Bit of boxing, bit of horse racing, even a bit of rugby.
And it's a try!
And some phenomenal guests. If you can't get in this squad after showing the form he showed, I don't think it looks too good for him. This is the place to be.
It's The Social on Talksport 2.
Oh, that's a beauty, that's a ripper.
The Social, tomorrow afternoon from 3.
It just works, doesn't it? On Talksport 2.
Fight Night Extra on Talksport 2. Tuesday evening from 5. Get weighed in for a massive night of big boxing drama.
I'm just ready to go to war.
Explosive insight and heavyweight boxing banter.
I'm the generation fighter. I actually feel sorry for all these guys who's had to fight me.
Hard-hitting boxing discussion that jabs you between the ears.
Fantastic boxer. But this is a big step up in weight class. Really big step up.
Get in the ring and go the distance.
She's got movements that look like Mayweather at times.
Fight Night Extra, Tuesday evening from 5 on Talksport 2, the home of boxing.
Established and excellent evening star of football.
Kickoff live on Talksport 2.
It's rolled short to James, hits it into that wall, and the ball's gone into the arms of the keeper. But what's the referee given here? Well, it looked like it could have been a handball inside the wall by Juan Jesus. And I think Chelsea have been given a penalty here, Scott Minto.
Yeah.
Right-footed, finds the bottom corner, and Chelsea lead in Naples through Enzo Fernandez. Vergara running towards the edge of the area. Little spin from Vergara. Still going. What a goal! What a goal! 1-1. Antonio Vergara sets the Stadio Diego Maradona alight with a goal that the little magician himself would have been proud of. For Napoli, approaching the left-hand corner of the area. On the underlap is Oliveira. Across the face of goal. And turned in by Rasmus Højlund. And Napoli lead. And Chelsea go behind. And could be going out to the top 8. It's now Napoli 2, Chelsea 1. That is the half-time score in Naples. You with Talksport 2 in the Champions League. Ian Danter and Scott Minto with you. Bring you full second half commentary of this game, but let me bring you the half-time scores from the Champions League, and once we've done that I'll try and tell you what it all means. Let's run through it all. Ajax 0, Olympiacos 0, Arsenal 3, Kairat Almaty 1, Athletic Club 2, Sporting 1, Atletico Madrid 1, Bodo Glimt 1, Barcelona 0, FC Copenhagen 1, Bayer Leverkusen 2, Villarreal 0, Benfica 2, Real Madrid 1, Borussia Dortmund 0, Inter Milan 0, Club Brugge 2, Marseille 0, Eintracht Frankfurt 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0, Liverpool 2, Karabakh 0, Manchester City 2, Galatasaray 0, Monaco 0, Juventus 0, Paphos FC 1, Slavia Prague 1, Paris Saint-Germain 1, Newcastle United 1, PSV 0, Bayern Munich 0, Napoli 2, Chelsea 1 in our commentary here on Talksport 2, and Union Saint-Gilloise 0, Atalanta 0. Right then, are you ready? Here's how the table looks as things stand, but it will change again and again as the second half continues. But as we are at the moment, the top 8 sides who will not have to worry about a 2-game playoff to get into the round of 16 are, in order from 1 to 8, Arsenal, Bayern Munich, Liverpool, Manchester City, Real Madrid, Tottenham Hotspur, Paris Saint-Germain and Newcastle United. Atletico Madrid, Atalanta and Inter occupy positions 9, 10 and 11. Chelsea, losing this game that we're bringing you, are down in 12th, so they will have to deal with a playoff game. So will Barcelona, who are losing at home to Copenhagen, as I mentioned, by a 1-0, and so will Sporting. And those were the 2 teams that we mentioned right at the start of this programme who could overhaul Chelsea even if they won tonight and snatch 8th place from them. So second half action to come. Let's look ahead to the action that's happening across the TalkSport network, because the final day of the Europa League phase takes place tomorrow. Over on TalkSport, Nottingham Forest will take on the Hungarian side Ferencváros. Depending on other results, Forest could sneak themselves into the top 8 and straight into the last 16 of that competition. And after their great win at Brentford at the weekend, manager Sean Dyche was asked if the club can now kick on after a slow first half to the season.
The last one doesn't guarantee the next one. It's recovered now. You know, we've had a lot asked of these players. I never defend them in this sense because they get rewarded and they get looked after as people and their recovery and all these things. But you're still spending hours and hours on planes, you know, buses, hotels. It's not easy, you know, to see through that. It's been a really long week for that. And some of these players, whether they've played or not, have had a long week. So it's important to remember that for me, because now they need some recovery and we get ready to go again.
Scott Minto, talk to me about how Forest balance their season. Let's assume that it all goes well for them tomorrow. They beat the Hungarians. They get through to the round of 16, so they don't have to fiddle about with a playoff game. I know you'll probably tell me take each game as it comes, but would they be looking more at the European angle to really compete and just try and keep their heads above water in the Premier League at the same time? Or how dangerous is that?
No, it's very dangerous. I mean, look, you do want to look at each game, the next game that comes, but ultimately it's all about staying in the Premier League, and that's the important thing. You look at West Ham, and I actually thought after Forest beat West Ham that was West Ham almost done. You know, to be so poor against Wolves and then to lose against Nottingham Forest, even though I thought they were the better side, I didn't think they had the ability to come back into it, but they have in recent games. Visited Dr. Spurs, of course, didn't they?
Dr. Tottenham, they'll take care of you.
But that's the singly most important thing. You know, everybody at the club, including the owner, needs Nottingham Forest to stay in the Premier League. But there is a balance, because the reason why Forest, for the first time in decades, and I kind of feel sorry for the Forest fans. This was meant to be a really special year. You and I are old enough to remember the Cloughy years in the late 70s and how good they were in the 80s as well. Stuart Pearce, we know him really well as well, and the legend that he is and the glory years there. This has just gone totally pear-shaped. If they can somehow get through, and it's really important to try and make sure they don't have to deal with the playoffs. One, because you don't have those games and extra travelling. Two, obviously you're not going to get knocked out in those players because you're not in them, you're through to the next round. But three, you can then concentrate more on the Premier League, and that is ultimately the singly most important thing.
Lest we forget that Ferencváros, the Hungarian side, are coached by one Robbie Keane, and he has done extremely well. You may have heard him linked with jobs back here in the UK in recent times, because he's been really pulling up trees at undefeated Ferencváros in Europe. So a tough test for Forest. Villa also in action on Talksport 2 against Red Bull Salzburg at Villa Park after their 2-0 win, brilliant win at Newcastle. Manager Unai Emery said the club want to compete in every competition this season.
Last week, you didn't ask me about if we were title contender. And now, okay, keep balance is good.
How important is it? You top four. You're in a really strong position now.
Of course, our dreams was, when I arrived here, to play in Europe and to play consistently in Europe. We are doing it. Of course, this is the next challenge we have, and we are now in top position for Champions League, and we are going to try to keep it.
I'll tell you what, Scott Minto, Unai Emery has been, I wouldn't say making miracles, but he's been making teams competitive in European football for 15, 16 years. I think of his time at Valencia, when you'd have been covering Spanish football for television, and he was consistently getting Valencia top four at the wishes of the board, not with a great deal of money to spend, bringing through players like David Villa, David Silva, Nikola Zigic and others, but boy oh boy,
I knew you'd mention him.
His record in Europe is, there's no wonder to me why Villa are favourites for this trophy.
Do you know what, I might give him a glass of water and see if he can turn it into wine. Because what he is doing is nothing short of sensational, and the combination of Europe and the Premier League, and look, it was a really poor start to the season, then it was an amazing winning run, and then you're thinking, right, it's not going to last, and yet here they are, and I still think they're going to finish third, which would be a wonderful season, by the way, in terms of the Premier League. But they're going again, and they're staying with Manchester City and Arsenal right now. Yes, I do think they are the favourites for the Europa League, but I actually thought they were favourites for was it the Europa League a couple of seasons ago? Conference League, and they got knocked out in the semi-finals. So look, there's no guarantees. Europe is very tough, and towards the end of the season, you see how tired you are, but absolutely a sensational manager for sure.
Both those games live across the Talksport network tomorrow. Forest against Ferencváros on Talksport. Coverage starts at 7 with Natalie Sawyer, Jim Proudfoot and Leanne Sanderson, your commentary team at the City Ground. At Villa Park on Talksport 2, Villa Salzburg, Alex Crook and Chris Iwelumo will be your team for that one. Big change at half-time. Big call from Liam Rosenior. He's made a change. He's taken off Pedro Neto. He's brought on Cole Palmer. Scott Minto.
Yeah, very interesting. I mean, I think it goes to show how much he wants Cole Palmer. It's a big call to take off Pedro Neto, who's been one of Chelsea's best players, really, since he's come to the club. He's obviously kept on Esteval. I think that's the decision there. But Cole, you've done it before. Second half of the Europa Conference League, as well as many other football matches in a Chelsea shirt. Need you now.
Esteval now going to be playing on the left, I think, of that three behind Joao Pedro. I'll run you through the lineups in a minute, but we're back underway on Talksport 2. Chelsea in their black chain strip. Napoli, the home side, in their sky blue shirts and socks with white shorts. Napoli have Merritt in goal. Di Lorenzo, Buongiorno, Juan Jesus at the back. Spinazzola, Lobotka, McTominay, Oliveira, Vergara, Elmas and Højlund in their outfield ranks. Sanchez in goal for Chelsea. Gusto, James, Fofana and Cucurella. Caicedo and Santos. Now it's Palmer, Fernandes and Esteval behind Joao Pedro in attack, as Spurs take the lead early in the second half at Eintracht Frankfurt through Randall Kolo Muani, back on his old stomping ground, and Spurs are now, hear me, fourth in the Champions League table. All the trials and tribulations that Thomas Frank is having, going to get sacked in the morning. So the top four is Arsenal, Bayern Munich, Liverpool and Tottenham.
Let's see how it finishes.
And Manchester City in 5th, Newcastle in 8th. But Chelsea start this second half down in 12th. They need to get themselves at least back. If they get themselves level, they will be on 14 points, but they need more goals. It won't be enough to get them into the top 8 because Newcastle got that equaliser. Ball's played up to Enzo Fernandez, just shy of the halfway line. Can have a run, finds João Pedro, lays it off to Palmer, rides the initial challenge of Vergara, and then tucks it back in field to Santos, centre of the Napoli half. Enzo Fernandez, lots of blue shirts facing him, so he works it out to Cole Palmer inside right channel, puts his foot on the ball, not once but twice, gives it back to Santos in the centre of the half. Now across to Cucurella. Antonio Conte bobbing up and down at the edge of his technical area. Cole Palmer goes for goal ambitiously from 25 yards out, blocked at source, comes back to Palmer, thought about putting a ball in the box, instead tries to knock it back for his captain. James had to scamper after the ball a little bit, and then it's given away, and Vergara is away for Napoli, plays it in field looking for Højlund, and an important interception by Fofana, who's then pushed over by Vergara, and that buys Chelsea a bit of time and a free kick after they gave the ball away needlessly, and Napoli tried to break on them. Napoli 2, Chelsea 1.
Well, I mean, Chelsea need to be careful because, you know, obviously Napoli are leading and they'll take that. At 1-1, Napoli still would have needed to have gone on and try and get that second goal, and that could have created problems for them defensively, for Chelsea to try and, you know, do them on the transition. Now, it's almost the other way around.
João Pedro, good strength in the centre circle to ride a couple of challenges. Esteban calling for it on the left-hand side, but João Pedro gets past Juan Jesus, curls it out to the right-hand side, but intercepted by Oliveira very neatly for Napoli. But the ball went out of play as he just toe-ended it away from a Chelsea player. I think Barcelona have got themselves levelled, you know, against FC Copenhagen, which would mean that they would go to 9th and knock Chelsea down a further place to 13th in the live table.
Doesn't matter, 9th, 10th, 13th.
It's all about getting a goal. Indeed, they have equalised. It's Robert Lewandowski. Who else for Barcelona? 1-1 in the Nou Camp. Napoli roll the ball back to their keeper, Meret, but his clearance won't even reach halfway. Somehow kept in play on the left-hand side. McTominay shows strength to hold off Cole Palmer. They absolutely love him, Scott McTominay. He's been such an important cog in the Napoli machine. How important a cog will he be for Steve Clarke and Scotland out in the USA?
Very is the answer.
Oh boy, isn't he?
I mean, really pleased for him. Don't know him, never met him, got no skin in the game with him, with Manchester United or Napoli, but really pleased to see a British player, you know, not given the credit he deserved in English football and going abroad and absolutely bossing it.
I saw him win enough games for Manchester United with some of the late goals he got.
Yeah.
There was one against Brentford, I seem to think, a couple of years ago. Absolutely pivotal moments when he was that, like Frank Lampard used to be, that midfielder arriving at the right place at just the opportune moment to win a game for his club. Liverpool are 3-0 up on Karabakh, incidentally. Mo Salah back amongst the goals for Liverpool tonight.
He's got the character, you know, the ability is there, and maybe he isn't a Bruno Fernandes or some incredibly technical players that United have had, but he's got, along with his ability, the character. United have missed that. Napoli are loving it at the moment, and again, that's something that we just sort of want to get from this very young Chelsea side.
Their defence of the Scudetto not going well. Inter Milan are away and clear in the Italian top flight. Napoli 4th, but they're slightly better placed than, let's say, Chelsea are. Currently in 5th in the Premier League. trying to chase down Arsenal. Arsenal are 3-1 up tonight in the Champions League against Kara Almaty. But 2-1 here to Napoli. Poor layoff from Gusto. All sorts of time for Lobotka to win it back. Højlund can't pick up the loose ball. It was a poor touch from Vergara that time. Now Cucurella brings it under control for Chelsea and slides it out to Estevao, just inside the Napoli half, left-hand side. Probably can feel the hot breath of Antonio Conte on his shoulder as he tries to bring the ball under control, because Conte, as usual, has got ants in his pants.
Well, he's outside his little box there, isn't he? He's right on the touchline.
All action, Antonio Conte. How Jason Cundy's feeling right now. You can call in tonight. I think he's on the sports bar with Jamie O'Hara. Oh, it's Dean Saunders. He's had the night off. He knew there was potential for an upset. So Jamie and Dean will be taking your calls after 10 o'clock tonight on Talksport. Just after 10, once all the Champions League action is finished. 037 1722 3344. Chelsea fans, does it bother you that you would have to play another 2 games this season? Because that's what you're going to have to do as things stand in this table. You would have a playoff. Olympiacos are ahead in their game. They've just gone 1-0 up in the Champions League. That puts them handily placed in 19th and knocks Napoli down to 20th. But Napoli still qualifying for the playoffs as things stand. They're 2-1 up and they're coming forward with Rasmus Højlund teeing the ball up for Oliveira. Højlund again with his back to goal, knocks it back into midfield for Lobotka, centre of the Chelsea half, steers it to Spinazzola on the right hand side, but under pressure from Cucurella, he turns the ball back towards the halfway line. Gelson Martin scored that Olympiacos goal in Amsterdam against Ajax. Here's Buongiorno, back for McTominay, just over the halfway line to the left hand side of the Napoli midfield. Now they're working it back to the halfway line, and Di Lorenzo thinks, okay, I'm going to smack it back to the keeper here. Doesn't give it back to Alex Meret. Given back to him yet again, this time by Van Jesus. Very nice chip forward, flicked up to halfway by Vergara and held up really well by Rasmus Højlund. I don't remember seeing him do that for Manchester United very often. That's like what Lukaku would do if he was playing centre forward for Napoli at the moment. He's on the bench, let's not forget.
One word, confidence. He's always had the ability. When you got the confidence as well, you're just a completely different player. And he's loving life in Italy at the moment, and Napoli are bottling it in terms of how they're controlling the game. That's what I wanted Chelsea to do in the first half when they went 1-0 up. Napoli now just going back to the goalkeeper if they need to, then passing through the thirds.
I mean, look, I'm just a no-mark. I'm not being unkind to Rasmus Højlund here, thinking I never saw him do that, rolling defenders for Manchester United. No?
He's capable of it. I think it goes to show he's one of many Manchester United players that just been chewed up and spat out, really, of what's happened over the last decade.
Cole Palmer, just outside his own penalty area, clears it very neatly up to halfway, but it won't find a dark Chelsea shirt. Instead it's back with Napoli. Nearly 10 minutes gone second half. Napoli 2, Chelsea 1 on Talksport 2.
He's still only 22 as well, Rasmus Højlund.
Yeah, so much more to come from him.
I don't think he was ready for the move, but he's certainly given Chelsea problems here, and Chelsea just can't get the ball. It's a really good play from Napoli at the moment, and again I go back to, you know, senior players just been able to control the game. Well, it's Napoli who are doing just that at the moment.
I wonder whether the Manchester United hierarchy are keeping tabs on how Højlund is doing in Naples, with a view to bringing him back to Old Trafford next year, or whether Højlund might himself feel he is better served either staying at Napoli or trying somewhere else if he feels that there's something about the Manchester United psyche and setup that just doesn't suit him.
I think he'll be looking to get away, to be totally honest with you. They've got Sesko there now, and Burmo can play. Cunha can play in that position.
10 minutes gone, second half. Talksport 2 in the Champions League. Napoli 2, Chelsea 1. A result that puts Napoli into the playoffs, but also puts Chelsea into the playoffs when they thought they could qualify automatically for the round of 16. Heavy touch from João Pedro in the centre of the Napoli half, and that allowed Spinazzola to get in front of him. Ball's guided back to the goalkeeper, who plays a 1-2 with Oliveira. Long ball upfield. Højlund won't win that one. Vergara very nearly won a ball on halfway to towing it away from Cucurella. That could have been dangerous if he got something on that, but Chelsea win it back. So they've made that one change, Scott Minto. Palmer on for Neto at half-time. But
I know you're going to ask me, has he made a difference?
Well, not Cole Palmer. Did Chelsea look any better as a system now that they've switched things around a bit? Because you've now got Palmer, Fernandes, Esteban right to left in that three behind Joao Pedro.
Yeah. No, not as yet. That's not down to Cole Palmer. It's down to, the whole team.
No, I'm not going to judge Cole Palmer on 11
of course
minutes.
not. I mean, look, the game is won in both boxes. It's how you defend and how you scored. And Chelsea haven't defended well. And Napoli have taken advantage of that. But actually, you control the tempo of the game in midfield. And that's where the likes of Moises Caicedo, who's a brilliant player, of course he is, but Andrew Santos as well, along with Enzo Fernandez, they need to get hold of the ball and start playing at the pace that Chelsea want to. And at the moment, they're not getting hold of the ball, and Napoli are just slowing it down and playing going forward when they want to.
And they have it left-hand side, Napoli. Malo Gusto trying to hold up Elmas. It's worked back to Scott McTominay. 3 or 4 yards in from the far touchline on the Napoli left. Bayern Munich lead in Eindhoven against PSV. 1-0 there. Jamal Musiala. 4-0 to Liverpool. Hugo Ekitike on the mark for their fourth against Karabakh. And Napoli try and swing the ball out left. It was Vergara looking to release Elmas, but it was just over here. But Elmas appreciated the effort. More changes for Chelsea, Scott Minto. Jamie Gittins is coming on, and he's going to be replacing Andre Santos. And the other change sees Trevor Chalobah, Gusto. Yeah, Gusto's the other player coming off, as well as Santos, and Chalobah is coming on. So that would appear to mean now, Scott, that Reece James will switch to right back.
Yep.
Chalobah alongside Fofana, and a straight swap in midfield, Gittins for Santos.
Well, Enzo will drop in to alongside Moises Caicedo. Gittins obviously is a winger. I would imagine Cole Palmer will go into the number 10, so there's a little bit of a movement around, but it's certainly positive. Trying to get Cole Palmer in that central position. Enzo Fernandez obviously can be alongside Moises Caicedo without the ball, but then really try and make those late runs into the box with the ball. And then Gittins obviously is a winger who's going to try and create some crosses.
Nearly an hour gone. This game brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. Napoli 2, Chelsea 1. Chelsea were a goal up through an Enzo Fernandez penalty just by the quarter-hour mark, but then goals before half-time from Vergara, a superb effort, and a great near-post strike from Højlund have put Napoli in control. Remember, live football tomorrow from the Europa League across the Talksport network. Forest against Ferencvaros at Talksport 8 o'clock. Villa against Salzburg here on Talksport 2. And then we're back in the Championship. Friday night on Talksport 2. Bristol City, who for a few seconds were in the top 6 of the Championship on Saturday before Wrexham's last gasp winner at QPR. Bristol City entertained Derby at Ashton Gate. And then we've got 2 more Championship commentaries for you tomorrow, Saturday afternoon, work it out, Dante. Leicester Charlton, Scott will be tuned into that. At a 12:30 kickoff, managerless Leicester at home to the struggling Addicts. And then I'll be at Loftus Road to see how QPR recover from that defeat with the last kick of the game to Wrexham as they take on the leaders, Coventry. And Perry Groves will be alongside me. That's our 3 o'clock offering on Talksport 2. Liverpool-Newcastle is live on TalkSport Saturday evening. Atletico Madrid are 2-1 down to Bodo Glimt. Here's Joao Pedro, driving forward, what a goal! Turns from 25 yards out and smacks home a beauty for Chelsea with his left foot, rifled it past the keeper, who never saw it. And suddenly Chelsea are back level. It's not going to be enough as things stand to get them in the top 8, but it gives them hope in Naples. An hour gone, and out of nothing, Joao Pedro scores a worldie to make it Napoli 2, Chelsea 2.
Well, that's what he's capable of. He scored a really good goal recently, didn't he? Against Crystal Palace. And that is a wonder strike on his left foot, giving Merritt no chance whatsoever. He's got on the edge of the box. And there's about 4 Napoli players around him, but he still managed to find just half a yard on his left foot. It's a wonderful strike. And just what we've been saying, that Napoli have been in control of the tempo of this second half. João Pedro showed a bit of magic. Look, well done. Obviously, João Pedro started the game. Well done to Liam Rossini, though, just by making the substitution, just shakes things up a little bit. But João Pedro, brilliant. He's getting close to double figures now, and he hasn't taken a penalty yet for Chelsea.
Now, this is not enough to get Chelsea into the top 8. With that goal, Chelsea have moved up a couple of spots to 10th. Another goal, however, for Chelsea, and that mega table's going to look very, very different.
Oh, come on.
So now with Real Madrid 3-1 down, Barcelona have gone 2-1 up against Copenhagen, Lamine Yamal. So that's knocked Newcastle out the top 8 as well. Newcastle are playing Paris Saint-Germain live on Talksport right now. That's 1-1 in the French capital. Now, how are Napoli going to respond, having been behind, having led, and now been pegged back? 5-0 to Liverpool, incidentally. Alexis McAllister gets his second, Liverpool's 5th. And Liverpool are going to finish 3rd, behind Bayern and Arsenal, who are also winning. So too Tottenham, who are going to finish 4th, and Barcelona, as I've just mentioned, 5th spot they're going to finish in if they stay like that against Copenhagen. Now, Buongiorno down the left-hand side for Napoli, finds the ball to the edge of the area, but Rasmus Højlund gets it horribly wrong. He was trying to tee himself up for a volley on his left foot at the edge of the area, and having teed himself up, that looked like me going for goal. It went well behind for a goal kick. Sorry, Rasmus, but that's the best description I could think.
That was almost an Avit, wasn't it?
Almost.
Malagusta's in the first half, but we're going to be aiming for the goal there.
Sporting get level at Athletic Club. Trincao. Is that the Trincao that was at Wolves? 2-2 in Bilbao. And Benfica 3-1 up against Real Madrid. Scott Minto, your old club, are bossing it.
Forza Benfica.
Andreas Schleider up again. That's his second of the night for the Portuguese mega club. So, 63 minutes gone.
And the problem is... Sorry, Dan.
Go on.
I was going to say, the problem is Chelsea are in 10th at the moment. The 2 teams they've got to try and get above are playing each other.
Yeah. Are you talking about a pact of non-aggression? It's not that.
No,
a pact of non-aggression isn't going to suit.
No, because Newcastle won't. No, Newcastle won't be doing it. But
yeah,
you know, it's almost like you want a goal there, so someone to sort of drop down. But actually, it just means the one who's still above you is going to go further ahead.
So it is
Chelsea
in Chelsea's hand. They've
goal.
got to get in front. Yeah. They've got to get in front as things stand. Chelsea. 64 minutes gone. No, it's not going to be like Austria-West Germany in 82.
Oh, was it 82?
82.
Sorry.
It was the Algerian supporters who were in the stadium.
That's right.
Oh boy, that was an atmosphere that day, watching that game on the telly with me, old man. Anyway, Champions League, final night, 30 clubs, all having something to play for. Absolutely balmy.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. It just kind of feels like a last game of the season where there's still so much riding on it. Well done to you, UEFA.
I've done those last day of the seasons in the Championship for Talksport 2, and those shifts fry your brain, I can tell you.
I did it in the Spanish football as well, and it's like there's only a couple of thousand permutations.
Honestly, you feel like you lose weight doing these sorts of shifts. Not that you do.
Just Chelsea, give us another goal, and then we
that's what we need.
So much.
And that would put another English side in the top 8. But as it stands, Newcastle and Chelsea are going to miss out on automatic qualification for the round of 16. They will have to deal with an extra 2 games of football, and the draw's going to be made on Friday, I believe, for that playoff round. And looking at the teams that would be, as it stands, would be in that, teams like Juventus and Inter Milan from Italy, and Atalanta in there as well, Atletico Madrid and Borussia Dortmund, and Napoli. Although actually Napoli have now dropped down to 27th, with the goals going in elsewhere. Bodo Glimt going ahead, and Benfica now 3-2 up against Real Madrid. Kylian Mbappe gets the second. Napoli are now out of the top 24 again. So it's the pendulum swung against Antonio Conte's side. but not necessarily in favour of Chelsea. Here's Enzo Fernandez going for goal from 30 yards out, but gets it horribly wrong. Over the bar, goal kick.
He does, but this is much better from Chelsea. Again, now Chelsea have wrestled back the tempo of the game and they're controlling it in the way that they want to. I'm just looking at the replays of the goal. VAR checked it. It was definitely onside. It was just a little touch from a pass from Cole Palmer. You know, and then by being in that number 10 position, we know under Pochettino he was kind of like, he was obviously sensational, just coming off the right. He wasn't your typical right winger, but he wasn't you're starting off as your number 10 as well, but he was in that number 10 position. So well done to Liam Rosina for making substitutions to get him into that position. Simple pass in a way, and it's all about João Pedro. But still, just a few little moments, a few little tweaks have led towards the moment of João Pedro getting on the ball, and it's a wonderful strike on his left foot. And now the pendulum has swung the other way. It's not as if Chelsea are creating lots of chances, but if you had to put a pound on who you think will go on and get the next goal, now it looks like it could be Chelsea.
Napoli have made a change. Juan Jesus has come off, and the left back Miguel Gutierrez, who began in the Real Madrid academy, is on in his place. Lukaku remains lurking on the bench, the former Chelsea man. A quarter of the game to go on Talksport 2. Napoli 2, Chelsea 2. Not good enough for either side based on what they wanted to happen come the 90-minute mark. Chelsea outside the top 8, Napoli outside the top 24. Suits neither side this scoreline really. Forward come Napoli with Elmas. McTominay, 30 yards from goal, flicks it back up to square to Lobotka. Now Di Lorenzo, the captain, slides it up to Højlund, holding the ball up at the edge of the area. Vergara tried to get a foot in, Chelsea win it back. It's tucked back to Fofana, now playing as the right-sided centre-half. Chalobah's moved to the left-hand side, having not long come on as a substitute. Union Saint-Gilloise take the lead against Atalanta in one of the few remaining goalless games tonight in the Champions League. So we've got just over 20 minutes to play. Is there to be another twist?
Well, you kind of nailed it. What you would think. This result is no good for either of these two sides. So actually, as much as it's just sort of pass at the moment, as it gets to 15, 10, 5 minutes to go, both sides kind of have to go for it.
Well, maybe they're just sort of trying to conserve their energy at this stage of the game, ready for a final onslaught. And away comes Spinazzola for Napoli, right inside of the area, tried to play it across for Højlund. Chalobah with a vital interception, and again a celebration from centre-halves as they prevent a goal chance for Napoli. But it is a corner kick to the Neapolitans, 2-2.
Yeah, I mean, Jamie Gittins lost it, but then Marco Correa has gone straight out and vacated his left-back space. There's another chance and a really important clearance from Chalobah.
Vergara with the corner kick for Napoli. Onto the 6-yard line. It drops on the 6-yard line. Can Chelsea get it clear? They can. Lobotka at the edge of the box tries to play head tennis. In steps Moises Caicedo, and I think it was Reece James that finally got it clear, but nobody on halfway in a black Chelsea shirt. So it's back with Napoli, and there's a player gone down inside the box, so the French referee goes to check out the condition of the Napoli player. 2-2.
And look, I appreciate what Marco Correa was trying to do, you know, lost the ball, try and win the ball back as soon as possible, but actually just by one simple pass then a second pass, you've left your left back area. There's someone standing there. Jamie Gittins, being attack minded, hasn't read the situation that you've got in there, so he's got to then drop in for you. And then actually Højlund's got in front again of Wes Fofana, so if Trev Chalobah didn't make that clearance, he would have had another opportunity 6 yards out, less than 6 yards out to score the next goal.
Napoli 2, Chelsea 2. Nothing going on the pitch at the moment because Scott McTominay in the wars, but he's back up on his feet and didn't need any treatment. So 20 minutes left. And a poor back pass from Buongiorno. Napoli incidentally now playing a back four. They took off Jesus and brought on a full back in Gutierrez, so Buongiorno is playing as a centre-half along with Di Lorenzo, and then Spinazzola playing as right back. He's all-purpose, that boy. remember him speeding down the Italian left. Then he had a bad hamstring injury, didn't he, Scott?
He was out for almost a year, wasn't he? But he was an absolute star in the Euros when Italy beat England.
Yeah, well, I was there for the game against, I think it was Austria at Wembley in the knockout stages, and he was sensational that night too.
Amazing.
Now Chelsea in possession, 2-2. They need another goal, Chelsea. Can they get it? They're in 10th place in the table as things stand, but they need more. Cole Palmer forced to wriggle back into his own half to keep possession. Now Caicedo, centre of his own half, has to give it back to Sanchez. Rolls his foot on the ball and then hits it right-footed out to the near touchline on the left. Brilliantly kept in play by Gittins, and then he'll just roll it back. Garnacho's coming on in a second for Chelsea to bolster their attacking options. So, rightly, Leon Rossini's got to go for it. It's just a question of who Garnacho replaces. Whether it's a like for like or whether he takes off a more defensively minded player to get Garnacho on.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be surprised if he won't take off Moises Caicedo. I'd be surprised if he takes off Enzo, so then he really has to take off Esteval,
who has been a bit quieter in this second half since switching flanks at half time. He was on the right hand side the first 45 minutes, which is more of his natural habitat, I would tentatively suggest. He's actually going through the middle now as he looks for a pass from João Pedro. The ball got away from him, and Di Lorenzo guides it back to his goalkeeper. Firm pass from Merritt out to Gutierrez, who spots a bit of a run potentially for Elmas down the left-hand side, but the Swede is held up on halfway by the Chelsea captain Reece James. Oh, given away by Napoli. Here is Esteval at the edge of the area, inside the D, trying to make room for a shot, and he actually fouls the defender, Buongiorno, as he tried to get the ball under his spell, and it ends up being a Napoli free kick in their own defensive third of the pitch. 2-2 on Talksport 2.
Brilliant defending from Buongiorno. I mean, you think in one-on-one situation, Esteval was going to get past him, but I think it perhaps shows he's just a little bit short tonight, and yeah, not surprised to see that he is the man being taken off for Garnacho. He's given it everything, but that was the moment where you want to be really decisive, and he wasn't quite able to do it, and in the end he gave the foul away.
So Garnacho on to play in that left-hand sided position. He might get involved straight away because Chelsea won the ball. Cole Palmer up to the edge of the area. Enzo Fernandez inside the D, tries to thread the ball through for the run of Palmer, who continued to move inside the box. Napoli got it clear though. There's going to be a free kick and a yellow card's coming out from the French referee, almost apologetically, as he holds it aloft to Elmas. Yellow card for the Napoli midfielder, and Chelsea get a free kick. Just over a quarter of an hour to go then on Talksport 2. Chelsea's destiny still very much in their own hands. It was a bad challenge by Elmas, standing on the foot of the Chelsea midfielders, Reece James.
Yeah, but why stop the game? Why? He's actually stopped the game because the player's gone down.
Yeah, Di Lorenzo's down now.
Di Lorenzo's, but it wasn't a head injury, was it?
No, it looked like he was. I mean, he had an early little thigh injury, didn't he, Di Lorenzo?
If it's not a head injury, why are you stopping the game?
I don't know. Answers on an email, please, to Scott Minto at Charlton, West Ham, Benfica, Chelsea.com.
And Rotherham.
Oh, Rotherham, I forgot. I keep forgetting Rotherham. Yeah. What a win for them last night.
Yeah.
First win in 10 for Matt Hamshaw.
Needed it.
Very much enjoyed being at Lincoln City last night for Talksport 2. A terrific win at Sincil Bank against Bradford City. Second against fourth at the start of the night, but boy oh boy, really strong performance from the Imps.
I'm sorry, I'm not having this though.
Go on, what?
Di Lorenzo's down. It looks like an ankle injury, and he stopped the game. Well, he may be down and he may be in the penalty box, but it's not a head injury, so play on, referee. I like the way he has refereed the game so far, but sorry, carry on.
Well, Di Lorenzo still receiving treatment. So the Chelsea players have massed around the centre circle and they've not come across to Liam Rossini. They're just coaching themselves at the minute. Jeez, I remember that game. Chelsea-Napoli at Stamford Bridge that went to extra time the last time they met, when Roberto Di Matteo was temporary Chelsea manager. Yeah. Branislav Ivanovic crashed home the all-important winning goal on aggregate for Chelsea at the shed end. But I remember there was a great shot at one point where John Terry was stood, he'd been substituted, he was stood behind Di Matteo coaching, and then Di Matteo looked round and Terry stopped coaching, like put his hands down like he was playing ninja. Very funny moment.
Why is John Terry not become a manager, by the way?
It could be his choice.
No, he wants to be.
Okay, watch this space. Tottenham 2 up at Frankfurt, incidentally. Dominic Solanke cementing Tottenham's place in the top 8 of the Champions League mega table. That's where Chelsea want to be, but they're not there at the moment. They're in 10th in the standings with 13 minutes to go. Just saw Lukaku sort of menacingly pace down the touchline. Will we see the former Chelsea striker come on to try and win it for Napoli? Because remember, Napoli, as things stand, are outside the qualification spots for the playoffs. They're in 28th. But a goal changes everything for Napoli and makes it worse for Chelsea.
But the fact that they need it means they have to try and go for it. Hopefully, Chelsea can open up some spaces.
Well, here come Napoli down the left-hand side with Elmas. Gutierrez making a great run on the overlap. He's used him now. Gutierrez tries to put the ball in first time. Good block from Reece James. Out for a Napoli throw. 2-2. Throw taken quickly. Elmas gives it back to Gutierrez. Oliveira wants it rolled back to him. 30 yards from goal out on the left-hand side. PSV equalise against Bayern Munich. That's 1-1. Napoli have passed the ball all the way back to Buongiorno just in front of the halfway line. Di Lorenzo gets the ball passed to him square to the right of Buongiorno. Now the centre halves having to exchange passes inside their own half as Chelsea push on. 12 minutes to go. 2-2. It's good pressure from Chelsea, forcing Napoli to go all the way back to their goalkeeper. Now he hits it long, Merritt, first time, looking for Højlund, and the offside flag goes up against Rasmus Højlund, but Chalobah was marshalling him well anyway.
Do you know what? He did really well there, because actually he's bossed Wes Fofana at times, so Trevor Chalobah used his physicality really well.
Lukaku's coming on. Just to warn you, little nutmeg from Cole Palmer almost, or João Pedro rather, almost got Cole Palmer in, but the ball's back with Merritt, the keeper. Looks for Højlund again. It's a good header again from Reece James. Cushions are headed down. Cucurella picks it up now for Chelsea. Now it's Gittins. He's not really had much of the ball since coming on down this left-hand side. Garnacho out on this near side with him, but Gittins tries to do too much on his own, and the ball gets taken off his toe by Di Lorenzo. Merritt passes the ball neatly out to Gutierrez, left-hand side. McTominay wants it passed in field, gives it back to Gutierrez. Always seems to have time, Scott McTominay, in those tighter defensive situations.
The good players do.
Reece James heads the ball down into midfield, but Napoli will pick it up. Oliveira hit the ball against Reece James, but Cole Palmer knew he couldn't go for the loose ball because he was way offside. So Lukaku is ready to come on field against his old club. Who's he going to replace? Ball played forward looking for Højlund, but that was straight down the throat of Trevor Chalobah, who could easily guide it back to his goalkeeper. 2-2 with 10 minutes to go.
Sorry, Dan. Trevor Chalobah's been brilliant since he's come on. He really has.
Yeah, he has.
The physical side of Rasmus Højlund, who, has absolutely given everything. Not surprised to see Lukaku come on. But he's read the ball, read the situations, he's put his body in the right place. And then when he's needed to have that physical battle, he's more or less come out on top every time.
Vergara up against Cucurella down the right-hand side. And a foul by Vergara on Cucurella. Both of them remonstrating with the officials. Vergara with the referee, Cucurella with the assistant about that challenge. Cucurella's come out on the right side of it, but he wouldn't know it by the look on his face.
I think it's because the referee's assistant didn't give it. It was the referee who gave it. So he's like, well, why are you not putting your flag up? It's right in front of you.
2-2 on Talksport 2. Still Lukaku waits to come on because Chelsea are piling forward. Garnacho rolled in right-hand side. Flag stays down. Can he find a teammate? Pulls the ball back to the edge of the area, and Enzo Fernandez can't get to the loose ball, and the flag does go up belatedly. In any case, Napoli get a free kick, and that will allow Lukaku to enter the fray. Scott Minto.
Yeah, he was a good 2 yards offside. I mean, why not just put the flag up straight away? You know, an injury could happen or something if you know that. But actually, Garnacho played the wrong ball. He cut the ball back. João Pedro had really raced into the box, and if it had just whipped it across, and he would have got there first. Wouldn't have mattered in the end, but yeah, not surprised at all now to see Romelu Lukaku. Does he fancy it?
Not just Lukaku coming on, but also Sam Bukema, the Dutch centre-back, and Spinazzola and Elmas have gone off. And straight away, so they're playing two up top now, Napoli. Højlund is still on there. Lukaku alongside him. Napoli have got to go for it, as things stand. I can understand why Antonio Conte's done that, but that space that Chelsea can exploit. And here goes João Pedro up to the edge of the area. Garnacho with him. Pedro goes alone and scores for Chelsea. And suddenly, Chelsea's destiny is back in their own hands. Almost as soon as Napoli make a change up front to try and seize the initiative, Chelsea release João Pedro. He gets his second, Chelsea's third, and Chelsea are back in the top 8. Late on in Naples, Napoli 2, Chelsea 3.
Well, yeah, you can understand what Antonio Conte's done by putting on 2 strikers or having 2 strikers, but that means you lose a player in midfield. The Chelsea win the ball back. Where's Fofana to Cole Palmer? There's 2 players on him. The ball suddenly finds itself out. With João Pedro, it's just your classic striker. Get there first, lay it off, spin in behind. He's looking at Garnacho to make some kind of run, and he's not. So in the end, he just gets half a yard. Defender doesn't get close to him, and he strikes it. How often do you see the shot go through a defender's legs? Gives the keeper no chance whatsoever. It's the inside of the side netting. João Pedro, what a game he's having. What a player. Game's not over yet, though, Dance.
No, now Napoli have got to find 2 unanswered goals to keep their European season alive. But as things stand, Chelsea are now up to 6th spot. So now it's Newcastle, who are still only drawing 1-1 at Paris Saint-Germain, live on Talksport right now, who need a goal to get into the top 8 themselves. Arsenal, Liverpool, Spurs, Chelsea and Manchester City all in the top 8, but not Eddie Howe's Newcastle.
So if they get a goal, am I right in thinking Real Madrid drop out of the top 8?
Because they're losing at your old club Benfica 3-2 at the moment, Real Madrid. So if it stays like that and Newcastle can somehow find a goal,
they'll be on 16 points, wouldn't they?
It would be Real Madrid dropping in to the playoffs, and who would want to face them over 2 legs? McTominay trying to change things for Napoli. 6 minutes to go. Drives the ball wildly across the face of goal. It's a poor ball from Scott McTominay, way over here. I don't really know what he was trying to do there, but it's a throw into Chelsea on the near side of the field. And now Napoli have really got to go through the gears. They were 2-1 up, having been 1-0 down. Now they're 3-2 down to Chelsea.
Magic of João Pedro. And Cole Palmer involved certainly in the first of João Pedro's goal.
For that goal as well, Cole Palmer's ball to release João Pedro over halfway was perfectly weighted, because João Pedro didn't have to break stride to get onto it, just took it on the run, and before you knew it, he was up at the edge of the area. Yeah, you could say that Garnacho could have been quite a useful sort of decoy for him. They were all waiting for him to pass to Garnacho, but no, João Pedro went alone, and Chelsea lead.
I mean, look, Cole Palmer, he'll go down as 2 assists, and they were 2 very good passes, you know, perfectly weighted, but still in both of those goals, João Pedro still had so much to do. Absolutely brilliant from the Brazilian.
5 minutes to go. Can Chelsea hang on here and preserve their top 8 finish? Remember, another goal for Napoli, even if it doesn't get them into the top 24, it would knock Chelsea back out of the top 8. Oh boy.
Manage the game. This is what I'm talking about. Manage the game. You've got 4.5 minutes plus injury time in this cauldron of an atmosphere. Started off well, then it went pear-shaped, but now you've come back into it. Now you're on top. Now you're in the top 8. So important, Dance, if they can finish in the top 8. You know, you don't have those extra games. The pressure on Liam Well, I think already it's ridiculous in terms of what some people are saying. You know, give him a chance. He's the Chelsea manager now. And actually what it will do, it will free up a couple of midweeks for him to get on the training grounds and get on the grass and show the players exactly what he wants them to do.
4 minutes to go. 3-2 to Chelsea. Live on Talksport 2.
Possibly, even more important than that, the optics. I know Simon Jordan hates that word, and so do I, but of coming here to Napoli and getting the win and finishing in the top 8 would be amazing.
Gittins plays a little 1-2 with Enzo Fernandez. Don't forget Simon Jordan using more big words tomorrow morning with Jim White from 10 a.m. in the morning. Just take your dictionary wherever you go and your thesaurus and anything else so you can decipher what Simon is saying to Jim. Barcelona 4-1 up on Copenhagen. Marcus Rashford getting in on the act now for Barca. Remember, they trailed in that game and they were in danger of missing out on the top 8 slot, but they're now 5th Barca in the live table. Ball's out of play. Napoli running out of time here. 3 minutes of normal time remaining. And I don't think Lukaku's touched the ball yet, Scott Minto, since he came onto the field.
No, and look, we can't blame him for it, but
no, of course
I was maybe a little bit facetious when I said, does he fancy it? Because when he's on his game, I think he can be unplayable.
Well, he's just touched it and given it away. Joao Pedro for Chelsea. Palmer wants it rolled into his feet, right-hand side. Gets tackled by Oliveira, who does really well, actually. Palmer stayed down. Hopefully that's not a serious problem for Cole Palmer, whether he's just looking for a free kick. Meantime, Boylan's been caught on the far side, so that's a free kick to Napoli and a yellow card for Wesley Fofana.
I don't know what it is about Antonio Conte in Europe. No, he's won major titles, obviously more so in Italy than in England, but he's managed big clubs and yet he's only had one quarter-final. Really strange.
Well, if you're looking at it from the Napoli point of view, obviously there's massive disappointment as things stand that they're going out of Europe tonight, but if they want to try and get back on terms with Inter and the teams above them in Serie A, then the lack of midweek football and the chance to get players rested and recuperated and get some of those injured players back could give them a spur for the last bit of the season. Chelsea coming forward with Joao Pedro, the hero of the night for Chelsea, hugging this near touchline, gets shoved to the ground by Buongiorno. Brilliant. Easy free kick for the referee to give as Arsenal go 4-1 up at the Emirates. Gabriel Jesus scoring. Arsenal 4, Kairat 1.
Absolutely brilliant play from Joao Pedro. He receives the ball, he gets his body there, defender's tired and obviously annoyed, he just clatters into him, goes down, wins the free kick, 30 seconds, 40 seconds gone.
Into the last minute of normal time, and Benoit Badiashile is going to be on shortly for Chelsea, and he's coming on. The subs being subbed. Jamie Gittins, who's not been on very long, 20 minutes maybe as a Chelsea sub, but I guess it's not about forward play now for Chelsea, it's about what we have we hold, and so another defender's being brought on by Liam Rossini for these last minutes.
Yeah, I mean, look, no sub wants to be subbed, but he's just got to take one for the team here and understand the situation.
Papos rounding off their Champions League campaign with a good home win, 4-1 up against Slavia Prague, with Mislav Orsic getting the fourth after Anderson Silva got their third. Napoli 2, Chelsea 3. We're about to find out how many extra minutes there will be in the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona. And it's a much quieter stadium than it was at half-time when Napoli were 2-1 up. 5 minutes that we're into now of minimum stoppage time. Newcastle still 1-1 at PSG. Over on Talksport, Liverpool 6, Karabakh 0. Federico Chiesa gets the 6th goal at Anfield tonight. So as it stands, Paris Saint-Germain and Newcastle at 1-1 are both going to miss out on top 8. So a goal there for either side on Talksport will knock out Real Madrid, who are hanging on, clinging on to 8th place in the table, 3-2 down away at Benfica.
It's incredible, isn't it? Inter, PSG, Juventus, Atletico Madrid, all outside the top 8, although we know what happened last year with PSG.
They left it late and won the thing. Here's Vergara down the right-hand side for Napoli. Gets to the right-hand corner of the penalty area. Cucurella sticking with him. Floats the ball to the far post. Pulled back from the far post by Buongiorno, but he can't find a blue shirt. And Chelsea smuggle the ball clear and win the throw. You're right, Scott.
No. He was free at the far post there, wasn't he?
He was, but the touch was poor in the end from Buongiorno. He was trying to guide it from the dead ball line, but the ball almost got stuck under his foot as he tried to half volley it back across goal.
Yeah, it's a centre half in a striker's position there, isn't it? Or even a winger's position.
A minute and a half gone of the minimum 5 that have been added on in Naples. Napoli need 2 goals to qualify for the playoff phase. As it stands, their European adventure stops tonight. Liverpool have won 6-0, Tottenham have won 2-0. They are through automatically to the round of 16. So are Chelsea. 3-2 up here. And penning Napoli back in their own half. Buongiorno flicks it left to Gutierrez. This is exactly where Chelsea want the ball to be. McTominay lays it back to Gutierrez. Now Højlund, who gave Napoli the lead right on half time. Coming forward now is Bukema. Finds Vergara again up against Cucurella down this near side, the Napoli right. Drives for the byline, then tries to spin back on his left. Goes down Cucurella, wins the ball back, and then turns and looks at Vergara on the ground and gives him a right load of verbals. As if to say, what you gone down for, you ...
Yeah,
Talksport listeners, join us at the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona. Chelsea are nearly there into the top 8. We're into 5 minutes of minimum stoppage time. 3 of those have gone. Napoli 2, Chelsea 3. Napoli coming forward. As it stands, the Italians are out of Europe and Chelsea are in the top 8, but Napoli win it back. Vergara finds Di Lorenzo, pulls it back to Lukaku, blocked away by Sanchez. Big save from the Chelsea keeper as Lukaku, the former Chelsea player, tried to steer it home. Scott Minto.
It's been such a topsy-turvy game with Chelsea starting so well, then defending poorly. 2-1 down at half-time. João Pedro just stepping up, showing his absolute brilliance. 2-2 and 3-2. And Chelsea have to hold out now for sure. Not defended brilliantly. And since Liam Rossinho has made the substitutions, I do think Chelsea have had more control of this game.
Almost as soon as Lukaku came on, João Pedro was set free by Cole Palmer with a lovely pass. He slotted it home and it ended up in the back of the net for João Pedro second, Chelsea third. They lead 3-2 and they're going to finish 6th in the mega table, Chelsea, as things stand, with Napoli way down in 30th when they could have finished 19th, and that's where they were when they were 2-1 up at half time. Talksport listeners, join us now with seconds to go at the Stadio Diego Maradona. Napoli 2, Chelsea 3. Antonio Conte looks a disconsolate figure. The former Chelsea manager seeing his Italian side dropping out, but Chelsea going through automatically to the round of 16. 1-0 up through Enzo Fernandez, 2-1 down. 2 goals from Vergara and Højlund just before half time. But then it became the João Pedro show in the second half, Scott Minto.
Yeah, look, Cole Palmer will go down as 2 assists, and there were 2 very good passes, but there was still so much to do. And just in the cauldron, the atmosphere that is here in Naples, you need the people to step up, the senior players, the magical players that can somehow find a way for Chelsea to win this game and finish in the top 8. João Pedro has done that not once but twice.
Big news from Bilbao. Sporting have just taken the lead at Athletic Club. Now that news, we were talking about Real Madrid losing at your old club Benfica, Scott. That means that it knocks Real Madrid into 9th, out of the top 8. The full-time whistle has gone in Naples. Chelsea are through in 6th place in the mega table. They've come from 2-1 down at half-time. Liam Rossinho's biggest game arguably so far as Chelsea manager, and he's passed that test. João Pedro with the brace in the second half to get the job done for Chelsea. So all the English sides bar Newcastle have made it through, it seems, to the round of 16 without having to play a playoff round. The full-time score at the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona. Napoli 2, Chelsea 3. Scott Minto, your thoughts?
Let me breathe first, Dance. Oh my goodness, what a game. Chelsea started so well and got their goal. And then it was almost they just sat back, and there's really 2 poor goals to concede. And you're thinking, can they? Are they able to get back and get not just win the game, but obviously finish in the top 8? We're just looking at Joao Pedro, players coming up to him. And what a superstar he is. Scored at the weekend, of course. He's had a bit of a topsy-turvy season so far, but he's carried a niggle. But we know the ability that he's got. Scored a great goal against Crystal Palace, but in this type of atmosphere, for him to step up, 2-1 down, make it 3-2, nothing short of sensational.
All smiles from the Chelsea players on the field, and a big slap on the back of Joao Pedro from his manager for the effort he put in. Cole Palmer with 2 assists, and for Napoli it's a case of what might have been, because things looked very, very different and felt very, very different at half-time, where Chelsea had started well, faded after taking the lead. Napoli took the game by the scruff of the neck, but just couldn't hold on to that lead. Antonio Conte making his way back to the dressing room. Disappointment from him. He'll want to get players back fit for Napoli for a title charge, to try and reel in those above them in the Serie A table. But for Chelsea, as you rightly said, Scott Minto, the fact that they don't have to play 2 extra games of football gives Liam Rossini a chance to get some of his coaching methods across in 3 weeks to his Chelsea players on the training pitch in Cobham.
I think this win, Danson, finishing in the top 8 was just so crucial on so many levels. We know that there's a section of Chelsea fans, and I understand it, and the media as well, that will say that Liam's CV doesn't justify him being Chelsea manager now. Maybe in the future, but not right now. But look, he is the Chelsea manager, and I looked at the team that he picked. The only one controversial thing you could say was Reece James at centre-half, with 3 centre-halves sitting on the bench, but Reece James could play anywhere and still be an 8, 9 out of 10. So, and how good was he tonight?
Well, I wonder, as we said in commentary, whether that is food for thought for Thomas Tuchel, looking on, watching Reece James play very comfortably alongside Wesley Fofana at centre-half. He
could play it. He could play in a 3. He could be the right back. He could be a wing back. He could be central midfield. I mean, he's a world-class player. But then actually, when things weren't going right, he made substitutions. Interesting, Cole Palmer came on at half-time. Pedro Neto was the player who has been one of Chelsea's best players this season since he's gone to the club. But it was about getting Cole Palmer in the game, and he wasn't really getting involved in the game, just coming off that right-hand side. So he made more substitutions to put Cole Palmer in the middle. And what happens there? I mean, they look simple passes, but they were perfectly weighted passes. But still, I have to say, as much as I love Cole Palmer, and that will give him a lot of confidence as well, these 45 minutes making 2 assists. The goals are about Joao Pedro. They're about the brilliance of the Brazilian. First of all, finding that pocket of space and then getting the half a yard, a brilliant strike with his left foot in the top corner, and then making that kind of counter-attack run. His classic centre-forward play. Lay the ball off, go in behind. He's looking up, he's waiting for Garnacho to do something. Could he possibly play him in? He's realising, no, I'm on the edge of the box, let's do something myself. Takes it half a yard to the side. The shot goes through the goalkeeper's legs, which gives the defender's legs, which gives the goalkeeper no chance whatsoever. And it's absolute brilliance.
It was very shaky at half-time, though, with those goals. That brilliant individual effort from Antonio Vergara to bring Napoli level at 1-1, and then Rasmus Højlund smacking the ball home from close range. So maybe we should give Liam Rossini the credit for the half-time team talk he must have given to his players at 2-1 down.
Yeah, absolutely. As I say, they were in control for the first 20 minutes, so that suggests to you that actually the team selection at the start was good. And then there's only so much a manager can do, especially, he doesn't really do too much normally in the first half. The second half of that first half meant that he had to be proactive at half-time. He brought Cole Palmer on, and then he made more substitutions to get Cole Palmer more in the game. And yeah, it was a brilliant second half. Well done, Liam, but also well done to the players. I was asking questions about, and I've been saying, like many ex-Chelsea players for a long time, you need a couple of senior pros. There's not enough leaders out there. well, these are the type of games that can make you leaders and can give you that experience as well. So brilliant from everyone in the end. Trevor Chalobah came on, I felt, was absolutely brilliant, sensational, and looked after Rasmus Højlund, who looked dangerous. But you're right, those 2 goals are really disappointed to concede. However, Chelsea found a way to win the game. In this cauldron of atmosphere, absolutely brilliant.
They're still playing at the Stadium of Light, incidentally. It's still Real Madrid 3-2 down at Benfica. Raul Asensio has been sent off in added time. And remember, another Real Madrid goal, if they bring themselves level somehow with 10 players, then they will knock Manchester City out of the top 8, because it's Pep Guardiola's men who are currently occupying 8th. So from 1st to 8th, Arsenal, Bayern Munich, Liverpool, Tottenham Hotspur, Barcelona, Chelsea, Sporting and Manchester City. But we're still waiting for the full-time whistle to go in Lisbon. Real Madrid 3-2 down. Meanwhile, whilst we're waiting for that full-time whistle to go, let's sort out our man of the match for the night. Time to pick that with our friends at Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The Here For It hero on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
And I give all responsibility to the professional who's played the game, not me.
Should we say this at the same time?
1, 2, 3.
Joao Pedro.
And just explain why.
Quite simply, he was the match winner. I mean, Ruud Gullit used to say to us back in the day, I wanted to do 2 things to affect the game. You know, especially when you're down, and you know, this is such a difficult atmosphere to play in. Napoli were desperate to try and win the game and let their European campaign continue. So to come here in front of these fans and to turn it around in the second half, 2 bits of brilliance. They weren't even tap-ins. Even if they were, still you're the match winner. But they were 2 brilliant goals.
So that's the pick from Scott Minto. Joao Pedro was our man of the match. Here For It hero with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.